Yo! What's going on, everybody? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Happy Thursday to all of the real ones out there. Appreciate everybody stopping by. The offseason is well underway. The New York Giants did make a staff change as they fired Jerome Henderson and they hired Marquand Manuel to be their defensive back coach. We did a video on that early on in the day on the channel. So if you haven't watched it, watch it after the day's show is done. But coming up on today's show, a loaded slate. Not one, not two, not three, but 4 segments to get into. We got a mailbag. We're going to talk about Pro Football Focus predicting that Stefon Diggs is going to sign with the New York Giants. We're going to talk about the report from Jordan on saying that Derek Carr is a player they could trade for. And we have Mock Draft 7.0. So get your drinks, get your popcorns, find a seat. We're going to be live for the next hour and a half or so talking everything New York Football Giants. I'm excited to do so. Already 205 people in the building. Shout out to all of you. If you bleed orange and blue, that's Knicks. If you bleed red and blue, if you love Giants Now by Chat Sports, and you're ready to get the show underway, let's get a real one roll call going in the comment section. Give me a real one. Maybe you're new to the channel. You don't know what a real one roll call is. A real one roll call is when the real ones let me know they're here. You're only a real one, though, if you support, you show love, you hit the like button, you share, you tell a friend to tell a friend, and you always show up, and you're always present, and you always bring the vibes. And I see a bunch of real ones in the building right now. Shout out to Jennifer Tingle, Drew, Michael Talking Yanks, Nick Jones, Big Smooth, My Life's a Meme, Brooklyn Born, what up? Gino and JoJo, what up? Carlos, Sean Leftwich, any relation to Byron Leftwich? Oh, what up, Revis? OG guy, what up, what up, what up? Kenya in the building. The king is here. Everyone show some love. Colton says, I watch every video in live, bro. Big fan. That's love. That's love, my man. I appreciate you. Robert says, what up? Shout out to the high by the Big Moo, the OG, always in the building. The Big Moo is a definite real one. What's happening, my man? Carl's in the building. What's up, homie? Adonis Simpson is a real one. David's a real one. Elan? E-L-A-N. Elon? I'm going Elon. I don't know. I got Smitty in the building today, though. Smitty, how's it going, my man?
Yeah. Good to see everybody in the building. Giants offseason underway, but not much action so far. A lot of rumors, a lot of speculation going around the New York Football Giants right now, but glad to be here with the real ones on a fine Thursday afternoon.
It's been a long week.
Has
Been a long week. Do you work tomorrow?
I do not work tomorrow. I got a little 2-day in a row off.
Dude, can you just be a little more professional and just walk in our studio while we're live? Shout out to Chase Sr. I will say, though, F the Birds, F the Eagles. We're rooting for a tie. We're rooting for the tie. The game never ends. Just overtime after overtime.
Yep, tire them out.
Ridiculous. Oh, man. John Thotty, what's happening, my man? Shout out to all of y'all. Smitty, we got 277 people in the building. Let's get some more people up in here. Yeah. I need everybody to hit that thumbs up icon. If you've liked the video, type me down below so we know who the real ones are. 280 people here, 280. We should be at 280 likes.
Come on.
Because I saw more than 82 people, Smitty, type real one.
Yeah.
So you can't type real one if you didn't like the video.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Your real one's invalid. You can validate it by hitting that thumbs up icon, liking the video. Hit the thumbs up. Takes 2 seconds. Totally free.
Let's go. Danelle. Smiley. What up, my man? I know he liked the video. He's a real one. Let's go. Let's go. Rob Simpy in the building. What up? Says, what is the most overtimes record? Well, in the playoffs, I'm curious what it would be. I would assume it's never gone past a double OT. I would assume a double OT. And remember, if we get into this situation, I know it's been a double OT because there was a game a couple of years ago where the time in the first overtime ran out.
Yes.
And people thought that meant that we did a new coin toss and a new flip.
Uh-huh.
All it means is you just reset the clock,
new
you
quarter.
flip the field.
New quarter.
It's a new quarter, exactly. Yep. So if you're watching games with friends, family, be the smart person. Let them know that the game just continues to go on when the overtime period ends.
What game is that? Do you remember?
I don't remember what it was. I think it's actually happened 2 times in a couple of years. I don't remember.
Do you remember the playoff game a couple years ago that went past the first overtime.
And people were like, oh, my God, they didn't score before the time ended. And it's like, oh, wait, they just get to keep the ball. I don't remember when it happened, but it did happen. I remember it. The peak, it doesn't forget.
They said the divisional playoff, was it Titans Bengals? I feel like the Bengals were involved.
I don't know.
Yeah. The longest overtime game in NFL playoff history is a divisional playoff matchup between Miami and Kansas City on Christmas Day 1971, ended in double overtime after 82 minutes and 40 seconds.
Okay. There you go, Rob Simpy. There you go. Also, Simpy, your jersey, it's on my desk. I'll get it sent out this week, my man. Shout out to you. The custom joint is here. Had a couple of other jerseys show up.
That's hard.
I'll get all of those sent out later this week. No, my man Ty Dubs in the building. He's got a couple of jerseys coming his way. We're going to get all that taken care of. Ashton says, I watch vids on my Chromebook during school. I love that.
That's elite.
Just make sure you're doing your work as well.
Get the work
Don't
done.
let Marsh and Smitty be the reason you're failing.
Nah, be the smart guy. Get the work done quick, and then just don't say anything. Just do your thing at the end of class. Man, we got a little bit extra time. All the other kids are working.
What do the kids say about the show? What do the kids at school say about the show?
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm curious.
Before
we talk more, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Game Time. Look, if you want to go to a conference championship game, the best spot to get to your tickets is Game Time. If you want to go to the Super Bowl, the best place to get your tickets is Game Time. The best place to get NFL playoff tickets is with our proud sponsor, Game Time. And if you download the app today, create an account today, use the promo code ChatSports today, you're going to save yourself $20 today. So do it today, all right? Download the app, create an account, use that promo code ChatSports, and get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. They guarantee the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed. The app has awesome features like all-in pricing and game time picks. You use those features, you're going to lock yourself in to the best deal out there. So what are you waiting for? Use Game Time, because I use Game Time, and it's the best app there is to get tickets. I love how they value their customers, and they make sure their customers get the best deal there is. So download the app, create an account, use that promo code ChatSports, that's CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase, where terms do apply. All of that information is clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. Let's ride.
And in the chat. It's in the chat as well.
Look at Smitty. He's just doing it all, man.
He's doing it all.
Doing it all.
Five-tool player.
That's what they call him. Ty Dubs, we're praying for you, bro. I hope today gets better. Hope tomorrow is better, and we got you, bro. We're a family. We're a community. We appreciate you being here, and we're going to keep you in our thoughts and prayers. Dubs, much love, my man. Callie Weege.
Oh.
Weege?
Callie Weege.
Callie Weege?
And there's a special thing about Callie Weege.
Oh, baby, up first. Time. Super chatter for Callie Weege. Shout out to you. Says, yo, Mr. Green, what's happening? What's happening? Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. Let me know. Let me know what's happening. What's going on? Are we ready? Are we ready for a big show today?
Are we ready
to have some fun? It's technically Smitty and I's Friday today. If we're down to get rowdy, if we're down to have a good time, and maybe a little happy hour, I'm down for that as well. Man, it's been a long week, but it's coming to a close, and I cannot wait. Cannot wait.
We can get the weekend started early on today's show if people are.
The weekend's here. We don't have anything else to do except top ball.
This is it.
This is all we're doing the rest of the week.
Once I cut up these videos at the end of today's stream, we are on to the weekend. Can't wait for it.
Let's go. Dolphin Storm says Jalen Hyatt is him. You talking about Tyreek? I'm confused. Jennifer Tingle says, I'm ready. Shout out to you. Brian says, Derek Carr, how is he better than what we just gave up to Daniel Jones? I love you guys, but Derek Carr is probably 5 times the quarterback that Daniel Jones is.
Yep.
But hey, we got plenty of time to talk about Derek Carr. We'll do that in a little bit. Jalen Hyatt is him. Said, would rather T or Tyreek, any chance of Abdul Carter, the linebacker. Would rather T or Tyree? Tyreek? Are you asking me if I would rather have Tyreek Hill or T. Higgins? Tyreek Hill is a better football player than T. Higgins. He's also about 5 years older. Adding Tyreek Hill right now is we are trying to win the Super Bowl this year. Tyreek's not going to play in the NFL for a long time. I could tell you that. He only sees himself playing for 3 or 4 more years. Doesn't want to be here in the NFL for a long time. He's also not leaving Miami. I could tell you that because he told me that. Tried to recruit him to the Giants, and he said, man, I ain't leaving Miami. I know I said what I said, but I was mad. We lost. Season was over. He loves Miami. He's not going to force a trade, he said, and he doesn't like the cold, and he wants to win. And as we know, New York is cold, and there's not a lot of winning done recently.
There's a pretty good chance that if he were to be traded as well, it would get cold in that location at some time of the year. And I'm sure that the Miami front office knows he likes the warm weather, and they would make sure that he was traded somewhere cold.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
No.
I would be shocked if Tyreek Hill forces a trade.
Yeah,
I'd love to have him. I'd love to have him. One of the most, I would say one of the most electric wide receivers in NFL history.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, is he a Hall of Famer?
I'd have to go and do a deeper dive, but off the top of my head, I say yes.
I would say yes as well.
2 rings or one? One ring.
One.
Couple All-Pros, I'm assuming.
I'm gonna assume that he has at least 3 first-team APL pros.
And I would say, what, 5+ years of 1,000 yards?
He has Super Bowl champion 1, 5 times first-team All-Pro.
He's a lock.
Yeah, second-team All-Pro in 2018.
So he's a 6-time All-Pro.
6-time All-Pro, 8-time Pro Bowler.
6-time All-Pro. That gets you in the Hall of Fame, and that might get you in the Hall of Fame first ballot, especially with a ring. And I'm sure with 6 All-Pros and 8 Pro Bowls, he's close to 6, 7, 8 years of 1,000 yards.
How many years of 1,000 yards do we have here? We have Tyreek Hill had he had 2, and then he got hurt. He missed 4 games, and then he had 4 more in a row.
So 6.
6 to 7.
6,000-yard season, 6 All-Pros, and a Super Bowl. You will have a golden bust outside of Canton, Ohio.
Yep. And his pure highlight factor as well. Like, he's got a lot of aura.
He does.
He's an aura guy.
He does. That's crazy. Only 1 Super Bowl. So their first Super Bowl was the year that they beat Allen in the championship game, and they went back and forth?
No.
Because Tyreek was on that team.
So, yes. No. So what happened was, this is the timeline of the Chiefs. So they lose to Brady in 18 in overtime. Mahomes doesn't see the ball. In 2019, they beat the Bills in the AFC Championship and went to the Super Bowl, and they won it. And then in 2020, they lost in the Super Bowl to the Bucs. And then the following year, when they beat Buffalo in the divisional game, they lose to Cincinnati the next week.
So what was the one that they scored with like 13 seconds left?
That year, they lose to they beat.
They don't win the Super Bowl that year.
No, they lose in the AFC Championship.
Gotcha.
To the Bengals.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Now you know. Shout out to y'all. 300 people watching, only 141 likes. If y'all could, hit that thumbs up icon. If we can get as soon as we get to 200 likes, we'll dive into the 4 segments that we've got planned for everybody that is
good
tuned
idea.
in. Vasquez, what up, my man? Shout out to you, and shout out to Jalen Hyatt as him. Look, as long as Super Chats are flowing, we'll continue to answer all the questions that you guys have in Super Chats. If you want your question up on screen, you want Martian Smitty to talk about it, you got to send a Super Chat, and we'll pop those up on screen. We'll do our best to monitor live chat, but it gets busy, and it gets crazy there sometimes. Jalen Hyatt is him. Second Super Chat of the day. What up, my man? Says, is Geno an option? Also maybe ship DK with him. Look, Geno Smith is someone that is on the border of being a trade candidate, a cut candidate, or a restructure candidate for Seattle. I don't think that the Seattle Seahawks are going to move on from Geno Smith. I think it ends in a contract restructure, a couple more years added to his deal, and you spread out probably the cap hits of those. If he's open for if he is going to get traded, yeah, I would be interested because I do think Geno is someone that could be a bridge quarterback for you for a year, 2 years, and develop that next guy and a natural handoff to him. As far as DK Metcalf, not really interested. The Giants already made that trade last year where they gave up a premium pick and a big contract to a guy. That was Brian Burns. You can't continuously do that. You can't continuously give up premium draft capital and big contracts to guys. I would rather just go out and sign a guy like T. Higgins than trade for DK and pay him. We're going to go over some wide receiver targets, though, in free agency this offseason. I think Geno Smith could be an option, but I don't think he's close to the top 5 or the top 10 of players that are most likely to take a snap under center for the New York Giants in the 2025 season. Des Powell says trade for Malik Willis. I think the Packers want to keep him as their backup quarterback. Unless you wow him with a trade offer, I think they want to keep him.
Didn't he kind of play? Didn't he win some games?
Yeah, like they like him being that backup QB. He won a couple of games.
Yeah.
And Love got hurt in another game, and I think he ended up winning that one too.
Huh. Who would have thought? A lot of guys see success after they see a new environment. And
Things happen.
Things happen.
Probably one of those situations you just want to get out of Tennessee.
Yeah. I think a lot of guys should want to get out of Tennessee. That's a bad situation.
Not a good one. Not a good one. Shout out to my man Rob Jigga. $10 super chat. Give me some RJs in the chat. What up, Rob? Happy Thursday, my man. 350 people watching. Could y'all all please hit that thumbs up icon? And if you have liked the video, give me a me in the chat.
Like the video.
Hunter goes first overall. Raiders trade up for the second overall and take Sanders. Then the heavens open, and Ward falls to the New York Giants at third. This is the scenario I am praying for. Shout out to the chat. This is a wet dream for Marshall Green. This is best case scenario. This is what I have been wanting since week 0 of college football. For Cam Ward to fall to the New York Football Giants at their pick. We did a video yesterday on the channel of the report that came out from the president of football operations for the Tennessee Titans saying that they want to take a generational player at number 1 overall. And then Adam Schefter and Mike Garafolo, maybe two of the most in-tune national reporters for the NFL, both said that means Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. A lot can change. It's January 20th or whatever it is. We're still 90 days away from the NFL draft. But yeah, I do think there is a world where Cam Ward doesn't go number 1 overall. And then I think there's a world where the Raiders trade up to number 2 to get Shedeur Sanders, because there's some people that believe Shedeur Sanders is number 1 at the QB spot on the Giants' big board.
Mel Kiper thinks he's the best quarterback in the draft.
Mel Kiper thinks that Shedeur Sanders is the best QB in the class. Yeah, that would be awesome. Rob Jigga, my partner in crime, my PIC. Yeah, let's do whatever we can to make sure Cam Ward goes number 3. And Smitty and I started this a couple of weeks ago. Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter are can't-miss prospects, and now they're listening to us.
I was going to say, it's no coincidence that the Titans are now saying, or the insiders are now saying that the Titans are insinuating that Abdul Carter is generational, because we started that.
I also love how last month Travis Hunter wasn't a top 5 receiver or a top 5 corner, and now anybody that talks about the NFL draft has him as the best receiver and the best corner.
Yeah.
Crazy how that changed.
Yep.
And I think they may have watched the film.
They may have watched the tape, the 50 minutes of straight baller highlights.
I just never understood that. It's like, this guy was the best player in college football.
Yeah, you know who has a ton of aura is Tavon Austin's highlight tape. Like, Travis Hunter has better highlights than Tavon Austin.
It's unreal, and it's football. It's offense and it's defense.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Rob, I'm with you. Whatever you got to do to get Cam Ward to fall to number 3, let me know, and I'll be right by your side doing it, even if it's illegal. Jalen Hyatt is him. $2 super chat. MVP of the day so far. Says, I think Brian Bird's played great this season. What do you think? This is a great question. I definitely wanted to talk about this in the mailbag, because a lot of people think that the move for Brian Burns wasn't worth it. And they have good, thoughts about it. Some people think that you could have just re-signed Saquon Barkley, and you could have took a guy like Kamari Lassiter in the second round. And Lassiter has been a great corner for the Houston Texans. Is Brian Burns a little bit overpaid? Maybe. He might be a little bit overpaid at $150 million over 5 seasons. But that guy's a beast. He's really, really good. And, the thing is, Smitty, we didn't even get a chance for him to flash his skills, which is closing games, rushing the passer. Because he did that against the Browns when we had a lead. Had a big strip sack that got us the ball back that won us the game. How many holding calls did he draw? He led the NFL at one point in passes batted down at the line of scrimmage. I'll have to do a deep stat dive on Brian Burns, but I would do the trade again and again and again. I think he's a top 10 edge rusher in this league. And him next to Dexter Lawrence, that's going to be a really good duo for a really long time in the National Football League. And I think that he's going to help whoever is on that other side, whether it's Kayvon Thibodeau or whether that's somebody else down the line. This guy played through injury. He played with Giants pride. He gave everything to this organization this past year. I don't have a bad word to say about Brian Burns. Is he overpaid? Sure. 95% of the NFL is overpaid. This guy's a stud. He's a blue-chip player, and he's got all-pro potential. How about we have a couple of leads in the fourth quarter, other teams have to drive down to tie the game or take the lead, and Brian Burns could just pin his ears back and go. I would do the trade over and over again. I love Brian Burns. I really, really do. Vasquez, we get Ward, Shador, Sanders. You prefer they start or get a bridge?
That's a good question as well.
I think either way, the Giants are going to sign a veteran quarterback in free agency simply because free agency becomes before the draft, right? And you don't want to be ass out, and you don't want everyone in the world to know you're willing to do whatever it takes to get one of these guys. And I wouldn't mind them sitting week 1 or sitting week 2, maybe into week 3. And it's like the Drake May where he starts weeks 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and beyond. But if they're just ready to play, then ready to play. It's hard to say right now because I don't know what the rest of the team looks like. I don't really have a preference. If they're ready to start them. If they're not, don't.
Funny thing about the Drake May situation is I think he was probably ready to start from week 1, but maybe the Patriots did a pretty good job at tanking this season by playing Jacoby Brissett and playing him probably more longer than they should have. Like they were like 2-7 before they started Drake May. Drake May only played like 8 games, maybe.
Yeah. Look, I do think that quarterbacks can benefit from watching, and I do think it could be a red flag, kind of a bump in the road if they play too soon and they have their confidence kind of shot. Every situation's different. I don't have a preference. Whatever the right decision is, I'm cool with it. I know that's like such a cop-out answer to say, but
see how they look when they get to town.
Exactly. Let's see how the preseason goes.
Yep.
See how the preseason goes. Dias! Hope I'm saying that right. What's up, man? Thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, sup, Marsh Smitty. Number 3 pick. 2 or 3 third-round picks plus Kayvon for the first pick. Then trade into the back end of the first for an edge. Would you guys do it?
Ooh.
So would you trade pick 3?
A second. 2 or 3 thirds.
So trade pick 3, 2 thirds, and Kayvon Thibodeau to get to the first pick, then trade back into the first for an edge. Well, it'd be hard to trade back into the first to get an edge because you just traded all your trade assets there. And you already are picking number 34 overall in this draft. And I think if you are going to move up from 3 to 1, they're going to want pick 34. There's a lot going on right here. I don't hate it. But this may be Big Brain Marsh doing a lot. If they're willing to trade number 1, you know what that tells me? They're not taking a quarterback.
Yeah.
Like if you're willing to trade the number 1 overall pick, that means you don't love the quarterback at number 1. And you're trying to bait a quarterback-hungry team to move up to 1. And I don't know if there's any team in this league that would move up to number 1 to take Cam Ward. I think a team would move up to number 1 to take Shador Sanders, like the Raiders. I would not personally do this unless I know for a fact that Cam Ward is going to be taken if we don't do the trade. But I don't see why would they do that. Mm-hmm. It's a lot. But I do think there is some to where you're talking with Kayvon. I haven't yet said it. But I think the Giants are going to shop Kayvon Thibodeau a little bit this offseason. See what they can get. See if they could use him as a trade piece to move up in the draft. He's entering year 4. They got to make a decision on his 5th-year option. Do you want to pick up that 5th-year option and almost pay him $20 million in year 5?
Especially if you're going to pay Azeez Ojulari this summer.
Yeah. I think there will be some shopping of Kayvon Thibodeau this offseason. Haven't heard anything, but that's just me connecting the dots and doing the thing we like to do. Nick Jones. Who? What up, man? $5 super chat. Shout out to you. Says, if Sanders and Ward are gone and we go QB in the later rounds, how do you feel about 6'4", 237-pound Will Howard? Why do we have to list his height and weight?
Is that the best thing about him? That he's 6'4"?
He looks like a pro.
Looks like a pro.
He looks like a pro. I've always kind of not been a fan of taking mid-round quarterbacks because it's like, let's say the Giants, the quarterbacks in this draft, Nick, go Ward 1, Sanders 2, whatever order. You take Travis Hunter 3. Then let's say you take, whether it be Will Howard in round 3, or round 2, it's Jackson Darr, or round 4, it's quarterback from Syracuse. What happens if the Giants are really bad again next year and they have the 3rd pick? Are you not going to take that quarterback because you took the guy in the mid-rounds of prior years, which you didn't really see a lot from him, and it didn't relate wins if he does play? And then you're gonna hope that guy that you drafted in round 3 or 4 the prior year is better than the guy that you got an opportunity to take at the top of round 1. I feel like if you're drafting a quarterback in the mid-round, Smitty, you should do it if you already have an established starter.
Yes. You should. Do it if you're a team that has like an aging starter or something like that. Like the Seahawks could benefit from maybe taking a mid-round quarterback this year because they still have a guy who they can feel confident starting over the next 1 or 2.
Who was the Eagles quarterback when they took Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round? Because he didn't start right away.
Well, it was Wentz.
It was Wentz.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the thing.
And they kind of knew at that point that Wentz wasn't going to be what he was the first time around before he got hurt bad. They probably didn't see him as a long-term piece. Well, they took Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
But they thought that they could still start him for at least a little bit.
Says tell that to the Cardinals who took Rosen and then Murray back-to-back. And that's why the Cardinals are where the Cardinals are. At the bottom of the NFL in the last 8 years in win total. It's a good question, Will Howard. Like, obviously he just won the national championship, and he's got a lot of buzz around his name. I haven't done a deep stat dive into him or a deep film dive into him just yet. I like the way he played in the national championship. Sure does have a lot around him, and it makes it easy for him. But, again, it's Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders or bust for me. Like, get one of the top 2 guys or you're still going to have a hole going forward because taking Jackson Darr in round 2, unless he plays great in year 1, is still going to, if you pick at the top of the draft in 2026 in round 1, you still need a quarterback. It's really tricky. And a lot of the mid-round quarterbacks recently, like, haven't been good. We did an exercise last year. I'll have to find the video.
Yeah, I was trying to think about
like, there hasn't really been any good ones recently.
Yeah, Brock Purdy was the last pick in the draft.
Yeah, if we can get a Brock Purdy, sure.
He didn't really count.
Yeah, like if we can get Brock Purdy, sure.
Yep.
G-Men for life. What's up, man? Appreciate the super chat. Where would you rank Ward in last year's draft? QB4. I would add him at QB4. Going, for me personally, I had Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels. Then I had J.J. McCarthy. Then I had Penix. Then I had Bo Nix. I would have Ward above McCarthy, behind Daniels at 3, and I would have Sanders behind McCarthy. So if I put Sanders and Ward in this class, and I am staying true to the draft class analysis that I had last year, not changing after 1 year, I would have it with my grades and where they stand. Caleb Williams 1, Drake May 2, Jane Daniels 3, Cam Ward 4, J.J. McCarthy 5, Shedeur Sanders 6, Michael Penix 7, and it would have been Bo Nix 8. I should have listened to Miss Cha. She had Bo Nix number 1 in the class. She knows ball. But, yeah, that's where I would have it. Jerry Colon, relation to Bartolo. My man, appreciate you coming in, showing love. What's up? What's going on, Mr. Cha?
Oh, well, John Thotty had the same question we just answered.
John Thotty, how you ranked the 5 QBs last year?
John Thotty, maybe we'll use your version for the mailbag.
We could do that.
We'll use your version for the mailbag.
Just realized I asked the same question. Can I get an FJ when Hurts headed into this weekend? F. Hurts. Who are y'all rooting for? Joey DeLuca, what's happening, my man?
Rooting for a massive blizzard in every place they try to have the game.
Yeah, we did a video. Smitty didn't know what I said. We did a video that's going to be posted on social media. I'll share it to all my socials of people going around the room asking who's going to win. And when they got to me, I said, I hope it's similar to the scene in The Dark Knight Rises when Hines Ward is running for a touchdown and the field explodes and all the players fall to their death.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I'm rooting for.
I didn't know we were going to go that far.
Was that too far?
No, yeah. I mean, I could have went further. I was thinking about talking about the Dark Knight Rises there.
That's what I said.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I mean, to be fair, I'm not gonna sit here and Marshall's also not gonna sit here and act like this isn't the case either. Jaden Daniels is by far the best quarterback in the NFC right now currently. And he's exciting and fun to watch. So I'm probably rooting for the Commanders.
I have more hate for the Eagles than the Commanders.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't even view the Commanders as a rival because in my life as a Giants fan, they've always been bad. And growing up in Texas, I got a lot of friends that are Dallas fans, so that makes it easy. And if you've got a heart and you've got a pulse, you hate the Eagles. So that's given to me. So yeah, that's me on that.
Oh, nope, wrong one. Nick Jones, shout out to you,
Nick
bro.
Jones, a little double dip for the Jonesy.
Nick Jones.
Oh, Jonesy.
Who?
Atlantic Lion. My man, what's happening, homie? Marsh. I saw a scenario where we traded Andrew Thomas to the Chiefs for a first, second, and next year's third. I'd be down. Thoughts? Nope. Why? So then you have another need at left tackle?
Yeah.
And then you're going to hope you draft a tackle at pick 32 that's as good as Andrew Thomas?
Who you picked at what? 6, 7?
4, I think.
4, yeah.
I think it was 4.
Yeah, he was 4. That's right.
Yeah. I'm in like my kind of new spot as a GM is if the player's good, keep him. There's not a lot of great football players in the world, and Andrew Thomas is a great football player. I want to keep him on this team.
Andrew Thomas was the 2020 draft pick for the Giants.
I think that sounds right because it was Barkley, then
Barkley
it was
18,
Jones,
then Jones 19,
and then Thomas.
Thomas 20.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But Shane didn't draft him. That's the
No,
last,
Shane did not draft
That's
him.
the last Gettleman draft. Second to last Gettleman.
So 20 was him. Then 21,
Who the?
that would have been Kadarius Toney. That was Gettleman's last draft.
Oh yeah. Well,
then 22 was Neal and Thibodeau. 23 was Banks. 24 was Neighbors.
21. I mean, yeah, that is quite the move to have it be your last draft move. Was trading up for Kadarius Toney?
Trading down and passing up on selecting Micah Parsons.
That's right. That's right.
He had never traded down in his life as a general manager in the first round, and the first time he did it, he
oh wow,
passed on Micah Parsons and Rashawn Slater. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense. They were picked around the same spot.
Yeah, awesome stuff, Dave. Nice Wii remote. The Realist, 718. Yo, Marsh, why are you so down on Dart? He broke all of Eli's records in Ole Miss and is the best deep threat QB in the class. What am I missing? I don't think I'm down on him. I just don't think I'm nearly as high on him as other people.
Records in college mean nothing.
Yeah. I probably have him as QB3 or QB4 in this class, which I would say that 99.9% of talent evaluators have. I literally picked him in the mock draft that went on the channel this week. Picked him in round 3. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm down on Jackson Dart. I would just say that I'm not as high on him as others, and I want Cam Ward or Sanders over him. I also think he's not ready to play in the NFL. I think he's got to sit for a year. I don't know. It's just, I watched the film, and I don't see a round 1 quarterback. I don't see a guy that I would take in the top 40 picks. Greg says Dart is a better dual threat than Sanders or Ward, but as a passer, he's limited. So he's Daniel Jones. I also would say that I think people are really sleeping on Cam Ward's athleticism. Best thing about all this is everyone's got an opinion. Everyone comes to their own opinion in their own ways, and we get to see it all unfold together.
That's right.
I'll be right. I'll be wrong. You'll be right. You'll be wrong. If we all knew every time, I wouldn't be here. I would be sitting in the GM chair somewhere else making hundreds of millions of dollars. But for me, he's QB3 or 4. He's in the same tier as Jalen Milroe for me. A risky prospect that could maybe balloon into someone that's a franchise quarterback. That's what I see. Say Smith, my man.
Yeah.
Marsh, I hate those Eagles. Give me a boo.
Boo!
Cry, Eagles, cry. Let's go. Shout out to my man, Say Smith.
That's love. Trev to go.
Carl says, what's the word with Diggs and Carr? Keep watching, bro.
TDG.
Keep watching, man. We're about to talk about it. Trev to go. $5 super chat. What up, man? Draft O'Marion Hampton at 34. He is remarkable and has a near Saquon ceiling. This is not the year to draft for positional need. Talent, talent, talent.
I like that last part.
Agreed.
We got to do some tape. We got some tape study.
We'll do some tape study on him. I'm of the belief right now, while it is talent, I would rather get a starting offensive lineman than a starting running back at this point at pick number 34.
Is that where? I mean, I don't even know. Is that where he's Trev? Is that where he's mocked? Is that where he's going right now? I'm not familiar with O'Marion Hampton. Where does he go to school? Oh, UNC running back, huh? I did not watch much Carolina this year. He's 2 years younger. That's so ridiculous.
He is the 24th ranked prospect according to PFF
24th ranked prospect.
and the 27.7 ADP.
So he's a weapon. He has to have elite receiving traits to him as well. No
Trev, Smitty, and I will do some homework this weekend. We'll see you here again on Thursday, and let's talk O'Marion Hampton. I'm probably saying that wrong. O'Marion? I'm sure that's the way.
38 catches for 373, 10 yards a grab, 2 tugs this year. I don't know if that's good or bad numbers, or not so good numbers for a college running back.
I don't like to spit out of my ass about prospects. I haven't done a lot of film study on the running back position because I already think you have your running back position kind of.
Tyrone Tracy.
You got Tyrone Tracy and Motor Singletary as your 1-2.
Okay, I know like you've like I feel like you've kind of glossed over the fact that this is like a very serviceable running back room next year. I'm not so sure that it is. I like Tyrone Tracy. I hope he gets better, and I would expect him to get better. But is he somebody who you can rely upon?
I think both. I think it's a 50-50 split next year. 60-40 split.
How old's Singletary going to be next year?
Gave him a 3-year contract. You better fucking produce. Kenya says that boy a beast.
He's 27, so he's fine.
Look, you can't just keep paying guys and not playing them.
Yeah.
And like I know that September was a long time ago. He was damn good the first 3 weeks.
He wasn't bad, no.
He did have a terrible fumble and another terrible fumble, but
those are the things I remember, though.
He was great. We made a graphic one time of him outproducing Saquon Barkley.
It was a two stat. That's right. Oh, my goodness.
I think Tyrone Tracy is going to get a little bit better. He's only played the position for 2 years. I don't envision Tyrone Tracy as ever a top 10 back, but anybody worried that Tracy is kind of old? Not really. I mean, I don't envision running backs' careers in general lasting more than 5-6 years anyways.
If because like his contract's going to be up and he'll be what, 26, 27. If you're to worry about like
28, I think.
Oh yeah, he came in as like a 24-year-old rookie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, regardless, like if you're going to pay him again, like that's probably.
I'm not re-signing him. I'm just going to get someone else.
And if you're concerned about re-signing him, that means he's probably a pretty good player.
Exactly.
So you'll worry about that when you need to worry about that.
Why is Cam Scattaboo being slept on?
Good. Let him sleep so the Giants can take him in the 5th round. I won't take a run. Like you do make a good point. Like I will not take a running back in the top 3 rounds.
No.
I don't think that Tyrone
Tracy,
Tracy.
draft one on day 3.
I don't think Tracy and Singletary are the most inspiring running back room, but like it's fine enough to where I'm not taking one of the first 2 days of the draft.
Yeah, I'm cool with a day 3 back. Hit again on a day 3 back. I'm almost cool with drafting a running back on day 3 every year. Just keep cycling them in and out. Don't ever give running backs second contracts, except they're Saquon Barkley. I learned that lesson. Tracy is promising. Singletary has passed his prime. He was playing like some of the best ball of his career with the Giants this year. I don't know. I think we have overcorrected ourselves on Devin Singletary. Is he a stud? No. He's an average back in the league. And an average back in the league is a contributor. He's just as good as Buddy in Buffalo. Not Cook, the other guy that they get carried. Rashad Davis, whatever his
Ray
name
Davis.
is. He's just as good as Ray Davis.
Yeah, he's just as good as Ray Davis.
Who else is left? The Chiefs?
Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. They got
Okay.
Kareem Hunt.
Okay, Kareem Hunt is
Kareem Hunt
RB2.
is their best running back right now.
Exactly. The Eagles, Saquon Barkley, obviously. The Commanders, Brian Robinson. He's
And Jeremy, they can make nipples.
and Jeremy McNipples. It's okay. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. Isn't Davis a rookie? I don't know what that has to do with anything. Like, they're in the AFC Championship with him as RB2.
He's RB2.
The further RB2 is one of the last problems the Giants have. Like,
that's actually like one of their better positions if you graded them out on an A to F scale. Your
Agreed.
RB2, it's like a B for the Giants. It's pretty good.
if we've learned anything, Saquon Barkley wasn't great here as last year. We all know that. Saquon Barkley goes to a new team and he's really great. Why was he great? One, because he's one of the best running backs talent-wise of all time. But it's also a dependent position. And the offensive line is running behind is amazing. So how about we build up the offensive line, crazy thought, and we just use the backs we have. And draft one in the third round. Draft one on day 3. I don't know.
And the quarterback over there is really good at running too. So he is gravity.
Yep.
And Saquon Barkley constantly is
A.J.
wide.
Brown and Devontae Smith
Like,
and Dallas Goedert.
You can't sell out for the run. They have too much talent.
Yeah. O-line. O-line is the most important ingredient in a run game. If there's anything I just hope everyone on this channel has understood since Saquon Barkley was here and he's not here, the most important ingredient to a run game is an offensive line.
You know what Saquon would look like on the Giants with a team as talented as the Eagles? Look at Saquon on the Eagles. Like he would have been that good.
Agreed.
What's up, man?
Should we be more professional?
Be a little bit more professional.
Everybody give me an F coop in the chat. Think you just waltz all in our studio. All righty, let's talk about it. Let's start with a quarterback trade idea because Jordan Renaud of ESPN put out an article and he named a specific quarterback by name. And I thought it was pretty interesting. We'll write in this piece. Could the New York Giants be looking to pull off a trade that would bring them a quarterback that was once pretty good in this league and even finished top 5 in the MVP voting at one point? We're going to break that down on today's show as you're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Marshall Green. Jordan Renaud, longtime beat reporter for Big Blue, works for ESPN, said the trade avenue at quarterback could also be an option. Nothing should be ruled out. And when Renaud says that, I think we should all listen because do we remember what John Mara said following Week 18 on Black Monday? Finding a quarterback is the number one issue for this team heading into the offseason. Then Joe Shane said this: we've done a lot of work on the college guys. John Mara mentioned earlier that we'll look at free agency. We can also look through the draft, potential trade opportunities. We'll look at any avenue we can to upgrade the position. The full quote that Jordan Renaud said, I wanted to tease it for you guys a little bit to make sure you're watching the video. The trade avenue could also be an option. The future of Derek Carr in New Orleans is one that could come into question. Nothing should be ruled out. I think it's pretty interesting that Renaud ended up mentioning Derek Carr by name. So on today's show, I'm going to go bit by bit and brick by brick to try to decide if the New York Giants should trade for the 33-year-old quarterback out of Fresno State that currently plays for the New Orleans Saints. Last year, 67.7% completion percentage, 2,100 yards, 15 touchdowns, and just 5 interceptions. He was solid and really good at the start of the year. Remember, they looked like the fastest show on turf at the beginning of the year when they dominated the Dallas Cowboys and they started the season 2-0. Then things kind of stalled out, and he ended up getting hurt against the Giants because he tried to Superman dive for a first down. So I'm just 50,000 feet out evaluations I have of Derek Carr. Some pros. He's got prototypical size. He's got good arm talent. He's got really nice touch on the ball. He's really good at throwing over the middle, and he's a good mental processor as well. Some cons. I think his pocket presence is bad. I think his playmaking outside of structure isn't all that good. And his mobility is not what it once was coming out of Fresno when he was a guy that could buy time with his legs to make plays downfield. My take overall, a good starting quarterback. Not an elite starting quarterback, not a great starting quarterback, not a bad starting quarterback, but a solid, good starting quarterback. Maybe like top 20 or so in the National Football League. You look at what he's done over the last couple of years in the league, playing just 10 games this year, 214 yards per game, 15 touchdowns in 10 games, just 5 interceptions, 8 interceptions last year in 17 games, with 25 touchdowns. If you're telling me the Giants could add a quarterback that's going to complete 68% of his passes, throw for 230 a game and 25 touchdowns and 8 picks, I'd be cool for that, for my little bridge quarterback. Some advanced stats. His EPA per play, 7th best in the National Football League. Estimated points added per play, top 7 in the NFL. Adjusted completion percentage, top 6 in the NFL. Average depth of target. How far do you push the ball down the field? 13th. Yards per attempt, 10th. So he pushes the ball down the field. His big-time throw percentage, top 8 in the league. Turnover-worthy play percentage, 14th best. Average time to throw, middle of the pack. And pressure to sack percentage is 8.5, second best in the NFL. He got the ball out quick, and he didn't take many sacks last year for New Orleans. When you talk about more EPA stuff, boom, a play of that is estimated points added greater than 1.0. 7th best in the NFL. His bust, an EPA play of negative 1.0 or greater. 10th best in the NFL. And the differential between these two, number 6th in the NFL. The advanced analytics say that Derek Carr was actually pretty damn good when he ended up playing for New Orleans last year. Some more stuff. He's got 35 game-winning drives in his NFL career. 13th all-time. Downfield EPA per attempt. How many points are you adding per downfield attempt? 5th best in the NFL. This is someone that I think is a little bit underrated in the National Football League. And I thought, you know what, let's compare him to a guy that a lot of people want in free agency, Justin Fields. It's not even close who had the better season in 2024, and it's not even close who has been a better quarterback in the NFL. 7th in EPA per play for Carr, 25th for Fields. 10th in yards per attempt compared to 23rd. 8th in big-time throws compared to 29th. Middle of the pack in turnover-worthy play percentage, whereas Justin Fields was at 22, and the average time to throw, Justin Fields had the most time to throw in the NFL, and Derek Carr was about midway. And that's where I look at Derek Carr. Carr is a top 20, top 16, top 17-ish quarterback in the NFL when healthy. He can be the point guard in a passing attack. He is someone that can really, I feel like, make plays down the field with his arm. I think he's got good touch. We saw Rashid Shaheed come out of nowhere, and he was awesome with him. We've seen him work out with other good wide receivers in this league. I think he's a solid quarterback. I think he's someone that's top 20 in this league. Question is, should the Giants trade for him? Like Jordan Renan kind of hinted at. I don't think it would take a lot to trade for him, and I'll explain why I believe it wouldn't take all that much to trade for him. Before we do, I just want to hear from you. Would you make this trade, giving up a 2025 fifth-round pick to the New Orleans Saints for Derek Carr? Would you go out and make this trade? Type A for accept, type D for decline. I want to hear from all of you down in the comment section right now. Coming up next, should they make the trade? And I'm going to tell you this. Before I tell you why it makes absolutely no sense to make the trade, yeah, I would trade a fifth-round pick for Derek Carr because you're getting a top half of the league starting quarterback. But the Giants aren't going to have to trade for him. I'll tell you why. Coming up next, though, or coming up right now, I got to tell you about our proud sponsor, Game Time. The conference championship games are here for the NFL. It's coming down to a close, and if you want to go catch one of the final 3 NFL games this year, you got to get hooked up with our proud sponsor and the best ticketing app in the game. It's called Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use that promo code ChatSports, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. You get to see your seat view in the app, so it's really easy to decide which ticket you want. Prices go down as the events get closer. The app will alert you via a push notification when flash deals are going on, and lowest price guaranteed. When you use that all-in pricing feature, the price you see is the price you pay, And when you see that Game Time Picks feature, it makes it that much more easy to go see your favorite team perform. So what are you waiting for? Download the app, create an account, use the promo code ChatSports. That's ChatSports, and get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. All of that information will be clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. What time is it? It's game time. Support the show. Support the sponsor. All righty. Being able to trade a fifth-round pick for Derek Carr is a no-brainer for the New York Football Giants, strictly from compensation-wise. Derek Carr is much more valuable than a fifth-round pick at this current moment. But trading for Carr doesn't make sense money-wise. And I'm a little curious, confused, puzzled why even Jordan Renan mentioned this. Because all it took was to read a couple articles, talk to a couple people, and take a look at the contract. Alrighty. When you trade for a player, you take on their base salary and their roster bonus. So if the New York Giants were to trade for Derek Carr, they would owe him a $30 million base salary this year and a $10 million roster bonus. He'd have a $30 million cap hit, but overall you'd be paying him $40 million. It's a lot for him, but that's not where I'm getting. Derek Carr has $30 million guaranteed on his contract when you get to the third day of the new league year. What does that mean? The Saints are not keeping Derek Carr on their roster past the third day of the league year, which means the Saints are more likely to cut Derek Carr. Trading Carr doesn't give New Orleans the salary cap relief that it does if you were to just cut him and schedule him as a post-June 1 cut. New rule in the NFL. You can schedule two people as a post-June 1 cut, and they enter the free agency pool immediately. Reminder, the cap saving you get from a post-June 1 cut, you cannot use until post-June 1. This is what they are going to do, in my opinion. They are going to declare him as a post-June 1 cut and save $30 million on the cap and take on a $21.4 million cap hit. The reason I say it makes no sense for them to trade him is because you only save $11.3 million and you have a dead cap hit of $40 million. So it doesn't make sense for the Giants to trade for him, money-wise, because you would owe him $30 million on a cap hit. And it doesn't make sense for the Saints to trade him because you're only saving $11.3 million and you're going to get marginal trade value back because other teams know you're going to have to overpay him. What does that mean? They are going to cut him. And he's going to be a free agent. And if the Giants want Derek Carr, they can go get him. They can go out and sign him. I would love to be able to just get the football player Derek Carr for a fifth-round pick. That's a home run move. But not at $40 million. So they're going to cut him. And he's going to be a free agent. And the Saints already are paying Derek Carr, and we'll talk about that more, a large chunk of guaranteed money for 2025, which means he could be in a similar situation as Russell Wilson was last year, where he signs a cheap contract, and like Kirk Cousins is going to be once the Atlanta Falcons cut him if they do. CBS projects that Derek Carr is going to sign, I don't really care about the team, the Indianapolis Colts, but a one-year deal for $15 million. Carr on a one-year, $15 million deal is a great move. It is a home run move. That might be the best quarterback contract in the National Football League. $15 million for 1 year, Derek Carr? Yeah, sign me up. Why would he do that? Because the New Orleans Saints owe him $21 million in 2025, no matter what. If they cut him, they owe him $21 million. If they keep him, they owe him a lot more money. So no, they're not going to trade him. Doesn't make sense for the Giants to trade him. They're going to cut him because it benefits them. And if he is a free agent, he is on my list of who I want the Giants to go out and sign as their bridge quarterback. My question to you is this. Would you sign Carr for a 1 year, $15 million contract? Type S for sign, type P for pass. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_. And that's why you subscribe to the channel, because we give you the actual reasons as to why things would happen instead of just throwing things at the wall and hoping that they stick. Appreciate you guys. If you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up icon. Does that make sense?
That makes sense to me.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't know if I did a great job of explaining that. I think I did, but I don't know.
yeah, I don't see what was wrong with that at all. I think Derek Carr, if you're gonna get a bridge, I mean, imagine the Giants actually draft a good quarterback in the top 3, and then you sign Derek Carr before that, and it's a good problem to have.
If you like, it would be an awesome QB room to go into the year next year with Derek Carr and Shedeur Sanders.
Yep, Derek Carr and Cam Ward.
Yeah, and you're giving yourself security. What happens if Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders go 1 and 2? The Giants are going to know that when they sign a free agent quarterback. If Derek Carr is your starting quarterback going into the year for $15 million, you're in a good spot.
They should probably go into free agency under the impression that Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward would go 1 and 2.
That's how they should operate.
That's how they should operate. No doubt.
Jamie says, Pete, he is always injured. Smitty, can you pop up the list for Cat again?
Sure.
Because I don't understand how you could say that. You say he's always hurt, right? Okay. Played in 17 games in 2021. Played all the games. 2022, he missed 2 games.
2 games.
2023, he didn't miss a game. And then in 2024, he did get hurt. So he's missed time twice because of injuries. And the other 2 years, he's played every single game in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
You could say he has been hurt, but to say he's always hurt is factually incorrect.
It's factually incorrect. It's not right. It's not right.
What up, Mike G? Says I would take him at that price tag, much better than what we had. Yeah, $15 million is what I would pay him. Someone asked me in the Chat Sports office, will I pay him 2 for $40 and $20 million each year and $30 million guaranteed?
Could we make that like a 1+1 maybe? Like
I would rather it be a 1+1.
Not guaranteed next season.
But, like, it's not even close who's a better quarterback between Justin Fields and Derek Carr.
Oh, it's not even close. Not even a question.
Again, it comes down to money. The dollar's got to make sense.
Rather trade for Stafford. So you'd rather give up draft capital
and pay him big bucks.
And pay him. Because he costs more than Derek Carr. He wouldn't have, I don't know when his contract's up, but you take on his base salary. The Rams wouldn't owe him any more money.
If you were to trade for Matthew Stafford, you would owe him.
Mike G, good to see you, by the way, brother.
You would owe him, it looks like, $27 million for 2025.
That's a good number.
Which is a good number. Would I rather have Stafford at $27 million while also giving up a third or maybe a second-round pick, or Carr at $15 in a year that, like, you're not winning a Super Bowl with Carr, you're not winning a Super Bowl with Stafford? I probably would rather have Stafford just because he's better, but I don't know. I'm just putting these things on your guys' horizon. Just putting them on your guys' horizon. Greg says, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. We still got a mailbag coming up later on today's show. Got a lot of great questions from the Super Chatters early on, but hey, there's a chance that if you got a banger of a question and you use the hashtag Giants, you might find yourself on the show later. We got a live Q&A coming up. So send in a Super Chat with a question to guarantee yourself on the mailbag or hashtag Giants, and I'll have to weed through all those to see who's got the best ones to fit in at the back half of that show.
Well, Bulldozer says Justin Fields is more promising to me than Carr. Carr is currently a better QB. I can't use the word promising because there's been nothing that lets me believe that he is. I think it's more. Well, I think what I would say to you is he has more potential, but potential is just a word. Because Carr's already there. Carr's a finished product. This is who he is. I think I'm more hopeful that Fields can be better than Carr is, but Fields hasn't showed me for 1 year in his career he's better than Carr at all.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that Justin Fields will ever be better than Derek Carr's worst.
Maybe Fields becomes a Giant and he takes a major leap. Maybe. But I can't say that's promising. That's hope.
Yeah.
Kind of blind hope.
Blind hope.
Because we just showed you the numbers. We watched the film, and I talked to Jack Sperry, who watched every throw of Justin Fields multiple times this year. I talked to Harrison Graham, who covers the Bears. He watched every throw of his career multiple times. You know what they tell me? He's got a long way to go as a passer. Higher ceiling? Sure, but no guarantee that he gets to that ceiling. Well, Bolzer says, except this year, if you ask me. Yeah, that's your opinion. My opinion is that Justin Fields wasn't very good for the Steelers. Mike G, Marsh, thoughts on trading KT and taking Carter at 3, assuming no QB on the board. You, sir, are studying. Appreciate you. We appreciate you. Shout out to Mike G. All he does is hit dingers. I would entertain it. But if both QBs go first, I'm Travis Hunter over Abdul Carter. I'd rather have Hunter and Thibodeau than Carter and a third-round pick.
I agree.
I don't even really think it's close anymore for me who is the best non-quarterback in this class.
It's Travis Hunter.
I think there's a sizable gap as well. You see Abdul Carter every year.
You do see Abdul Carter every year. I don't think you see a Travis Hunter every year. Abdul Carter might be, he could be a top 5 pass rusher in the league, and that's a really, really good player. You know what? Maybe that ends up being more valuable than Travis Hunter. But Travis Hunter jumps off the page, and he's kind of a dime a dozen. You're not going to find him.
No. I think I can go as far as to say you'll never see another prospect like Travis Hunter.
For a long time.
Like, this guy just won the Heisman playing both ways. Played 1,400 snaps this year in college. There's
a lot of
13 games. He's playing over 100 snaps a game.
That's a lot of football.
That's a lot of football. Jalen Phillips was Abdul Carter. There's an Abdul Carter every year.
Every year.
Kayvon Thibodeau was Abdul Carter.
He was.
Trayvon Walker was Abdul Carter. Jared Verse was Abdul. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Edge is way more valuable than corner. I think there's a larger plethora of good edges than good corners, though. They're both important. They're both important.
These are funny.
Why blue and red?
Because this is the free agent background.
It makes no sense.
Oh, man. I'll fix them right now.
You just want to make them all black?
Yeah.
You just make them all black. It doesn't make any sense.
I'll do like the Pittsburgh backgrounds, black and silver.
It's ridiculous. Mike G! Appreciate you, Bo. I would not. Because if both quarterbacks are gone for me, I just feel more confident in taking Travis Hunter and rolling with Burns and Thibodeau. On the other hand, like you're gonna if you do that, you're investing in Thibodeau, right? And you got an option you got a decision you got to make on his 5th-year option. Kind of like it just all black all the time.
Looks tough.
Looks way better. All righty. Mike G, another super chat. The GOAT. My man.
Literally. Shohei Ohtani. I can't even say Aaron Judge. Oh.
Mike G.
What the?
There it goes. See ya. Shout out to my man. Give me some MGs in the chat. Hunter and Dart, Milrow, or Sanders and Morrison, a Golden Domer. Can't talk about Monday night yet. Yeah. I don't want to say we kind of expected a blowout, but we did.
We kind of expected a blowout. Hey, kudos to Notre Dame for kind of making it close there-ish at the end. It was close-ish.
I was doing some Benjamin Morrison tape study today to see if I would select him in round 2 of my mock draft.
What position is he again?
Corner.
Corner, that's right.
Corner. He was hurt most of this year, though.
Okay.
Yeah. Mike G, I'll say this. Stick around for mock draft 7.0.
Ooh.
And you'll see what I did. See what I did? It'll answer your question. I don't want to give it away. Hunter Dart would be incredible, honestly. Why are we so sure Dart's going to be good? Because if Dart's not good, wait, so serious question. For all the people that draft Dart, do you think he's a franchise quarterback? If not, why are you drafting him?
Exactly.
And why are we so happy to say we're drafting him?
It seems like a lot of people haven't done deep enough studies on Jackson Dart.
And why are we just assuming he's going to be great?
They're seeing a lot of Instagram edits of Jackson Dart in Giants jerseys, and that's kind of where their heads are going. It played in the SEC, played for Ole Miss, threw for a bunch of yards. It's box score stuff, in my opinion, and I don't think they've really watched the player and looked at the numbers that would stack up for legit franchise quarterbacks.
Would y'all take Jackson Dart third if both quarterbacks are gone? If the answer is no, I don't want him.
Exactly.
If the answer is no, I don't want him.
Yeah. Yep. Picking your next quarterback isn't a game that you play like, oh man, we can get one later. We can get one later. That's not how drafting QBs goes.
I don't know. XRP says Dart was a system guy for Kiffin. That's a really QB-friendly system he's got. Vasquez, I agree with that. Dart is rolling the dice. Yes, exactly. Bro, Brady went in the 6th. Okay. How many other 6th-round quarterbacks are multi-Super Bowl champs? Come on, man. We don't always have to go to the extreme.
I think the only quarterback besides Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts jump out to me as the only quarterbacks that were not first-round picks in the last 10 Super Bowls. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's I think Russ is in there, and he just makes it for 10. But that team had top defense of all time. Got to be a guy.
Russell Wilson? Yeah, he fits that criteria 10 years ago.
10 years ago. And he came into the league with the best, also run-heavy team at first. You had Marshawn Lynch, great offensive line, and he had the best defense of all time. Does the Giants have any of those things?
Look, drafting a quarterback always is a lottery ticket. That's how it works. Even when you draft one number 1 overall, it's a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Drafting one around 3 and 4, you're really just hoping.
That's $1 scratch-off.
You're hoping. Look, it's just not the way I like to operate. I don't like drafting mid-round quarterbacks. Just how I roll. Everyone's got their own opinions. Everyone is open to believe the way they are. I'm not saying I'm right, and I'm not saying you guys are wrong. If Jackson Dart is the pick in the 3rd round, I'm going to support him, and I'm going to hype him up, and I'm going to talk about how I think it'd be great. Oh, y'all are funny. Like, there are mid-round quarterbacks in the NFL that are good right now. Dak is good. Y'all pay Dak $60 million? Are y'all paying Brock Purdy $60 million? I'm not saying it's wrong to push for Dart, Vasquez. I like the way you described it. It's a dice roll. And I think you are right. It is a dice roll. I just feel like some people say it like he's for sure going to be that guy. So, it's just... All righty, free agent targets. Free agent targets. Let's do it.
Targets. Let's go on ahead and get rolling.
Let me pull something up real quick. Whew. If Smitty, engage with the chat for a second. I need to pull something up for this segment. I should have had it already pulled up.
Sure. So, with what we've talked about right now, and we'll pop this question up after this segment. I see Brody's already got a name in there. Trey Smith. Give me a free agent. Drop a free agent in the chat. I'll just give you my quick 2 cents on him as we get ready for this segment. Dak's a $30 million quarterback at this stage. Diggs, Antonio Lopez. Stick around later in the show. We're going to talk about Stefon Diggs. There's a rumor going around. Jedrick Wills, is he a free agent? Is he a free agent this year? I'm not so sure that he is. I'm pretty sure he's a pretty good player. And he's somebody that is kept around by the Browns, I believe. Mike G, DJ Reed from the Jets. He's a good player. I was covering the Seattle Seahawks a couple years ago. I was upset they let him go. What about drafting Aller? Aller's not in the draft this year, and by the looks of his performance against Notre Dame, he probably needs to go back to school, and it's a good decision that he's doing so. What else we got? Mike G, you're not a fan of Drew Aller. I guess not after the Golden Domers just cooked him. Julian Blackman, Yo-Yo Gooch.
Who said Julian Blackman?
Yo-Yo Gooch.
Yo-Yo Gooch.
Knows ball.
You know ball.
That's a good player. Good ball
He's
player.
one of my guys. We're about to talk about Julian Blackman.
Yeah, Julian Blackman. Tyler Booker at 34. Who is that? And I know.
Bama guard.
Bama guard.
We've had him in a mock going to the Giants already.
That's why. Travis and Milrow. Yeah, I can't. I won't entertain the Milrow. Roller coaster Mike wants Kadarius Toney.
You sir are a troll.
He's a tweaking. He's a tweaking in this. Get Trey Smith and pimp up this O-line. I'm Chameleonaire, and I'm going to pimp yo O-line. It was Exhibit before that, though. I remember watching some episodes.
Exhibit was legendary.
It was Chameleonaire on there.
Chameleonaire. All right, what do we got? Quarterback.
Simmons isn't that bad. The safety? You mean Justin Simmons? Dude, he was a free agent until like September last year. I don't know how he ended up performing for the
Falcons.
What?
Falcons.
Oh, Falcons. Okay.
They had Bates and Simmons.
He went PD to PD there.
He did a PD, yeah.
So, I don't know how he performed. I'm not going to lie. I know Jesse Bates was really good. Maybe he was rubbed off a little bit. Pause.
All right. I got all my ducks in a row now.
Real librarian, though.
The real libertarian. Right?
Yes. I was just making a joke.
What does that mean?
Libertarian, it's a political party.
Oh, okay.
We
don't do politics. I shut up and dribble.
Yep. They're just all about the freedom. Do whatever you want.
Freed who? Picture this. Winston throwing to Neighbors and Hunter.
Like neighbors? Like, hey, neighbor.
Neighbors know my name. Look, if we want to F it and throw 40 picks and 40 touchdowns next year, I'm kind of down.
It would be great for Aura.
Kind of down. Shout out to y'all. 330 people watching, only 269 likes. If I get 31 people to hit that like button, get us to 300 likes, I think that'd be pretty cool. What up, Greg Congdon? Says, I think the draft board has been way all over the place. It has. Is Tyrod Taylor a free agent? No, but he might get cut. Nick Jones, $5 super chat. Says, Will Howard is QB3, possibly 2 over Sanders. Big 12 player of the year before transfer to OU, Ohio State. He is being slept on, Marsh. Please watch the film. I will watch Will Howard film this weekend. I don't think he is QB2 over Sanders. I don't think he's QB3. I got him at about QB5 right now. QB5. I got Milrow and Dart at 3 and 4. I think they're in the same tier. Projects with high upside. And then I got him at 5. But I'll watch the film, and we'll come back next week on Thursday and talk about it. We can talk about it next week on Thursday. All right, let's talk about it. NFL free agency is right around the corner, and on today's video, we're going to go over the 6 biggest positions in need for the New York Giants, and we're going to take a look at the top 10 players in free agency at those spots. Before we do, I want to hear from you. Name a free agent you want the Giants to sign. Is there a guy out there that you are just dying to see in a Giants uniform next year? Let me know. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. The offseason is here for Big Blue. Free agency is around the corner, and I thought today would be a good time to take a look at the biggest positions of need for this organization and talk about the top 10 players in free agency at those spots. In no order, I think these are the 6 biggest needs. And look, you win 3 games this year, you win 6 games last year, you win 9 games and 34 tries as a team. You need help everywhere. Quarterback, right guard, defensive tackle, wide receiver, corner, and safety. In whatever order you want to put it, also kicker would be number 7 for me. These are the 6 biggest needs for this team. And you don't want to spend all of your money, and you don't want to fix it all in one offseason. But I do think the Giants could use an infusion of talent at some of those spots. Right now, the Giants have the 12th most cap space in the NFL. In the article that Jordan Ahn wrote for ESPN on Thursday, he said that the Giants have $53 million in cap space, and it's 12th most. So that is the premise that we are going to be operating under. The Giants could add a lot more cap space, though, this offseason if they choose to. You could restructure Brian Burns' contract and save $16 million more this year. You could restructure Andrew Thomas's contract and save $12.5 million. Restructure Dexter Lawrence's, and you save $9.8 million. So you're saving almost another $40 million by doing that for these guys. And if you cut Graham Gano post-June 1, you save $4.4 million. I would cut Gano, make him a post-June 1 cut, save that $4.5 million, then apply that to your draft class. That's good for about half of the money you need to end up signing your draft class. So let's do it. Top free agents at the biggest positions of need for the New York Football Giants. And let's start at the quarterback position, because I do think the Giants are going to be very aggressive going out and signing at least one quarterback in free agency. Sam Darnold, best of the best. He's the one that's going to command the most money. And I think it's noteworthy that Renan said in his article the Giants were interested in signing Sam Darnold last offseason. They liked him last offseason. So that means they definitely like him after what he did with the Vikes this year. And I would not be shocked if Sam Darnold does become a New York Giant. Justin Fields, another quarterback, got some upside, was a first-round pick, hasn't lived up to the hype yet, but could, working with Brian Daboll, untap that potential. Russell Wilson, a veteran that was good at the start of the year, or at least when he became a starter, then fizzled out. Jameis Winston, a veteran that is a lot of fun. He's funny. A lot of touchdowns, a lot of picks. Zach Wilson, a first-round pick, kind of what Sam Darnold was last year, in my opinion. Went to QB rehab, spent a year in Denver with Sean Payton, like Sam Darnold did last year. Darnold ended up spending time with the San Francisco 49ers and Shanahan. Could that help him? And you see the other quarterbacks on the list, like Mac Jones, Marcus Mariota, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mason Rudolph, and Drew Lock. I would have some interest in a guy like Mac Jones, first-round pick, has been to the playoffs, was a Pro Bowler. I think Marcus Mariota is a little bit underrated. I think he makes a lot of sense for the New York Giants, as he could be a guy that could play, and he could be someone that mentors another guy. Jimmy Garoppolo, not really all that interested in. Mason Rudolph, not interested in. And Drew Lock, not really all that interested. The Giants will sign a quarterback in free agency. I can promise you that. They're going to have a quarterback put pen to paper to join this team. If I had to give you a rough guess of who I think is in that conversation, Darnold, Fields, Wilson, Zach Wilson, and I would say Mariota and Mac Jones. Those would probably be the top 6, in my opinion. Who do you want him to sign at QB, though? I talk all the time. I want to hear from y'all. Name a quarterback you want the Giants to sign in NFL free agency. You look at some of the top free agent offensive linemen that play on the interior. Tevin Jenkins is listed as a tackle on this graphic, but he played guard, came into the NFL as a tackle out of Oklahoma State, but he is a guard at this point in the National Football League. The top guard in free agency is Trey Smith. Everyone knows about Trey Smith, the interior offensive lineman for the Chiefs. He's expected to get a lot of money at 4 years and $82 million is what PFF projects. You're going to have to break the bank. There's going to be a lot of teams going after him. Will Fries is another player that I think the Giants should target. Only played in a limited capacity this year due to having a fractured tibia, But before being hurt, he had a PFF grade of 86.9, still 26 years old. He's projected to get a 4-year, $57 million contract. Not really interested in a guy like Tevin Jenkins due to his injury history. He had a back problem coming out of college, and he's missed games almost every year. Kevin Zeitler, once a Giant, always a Giant. Dave Gettleman cut him to sign Kenny Golladay. Not sure he'd come back. James Daniels makes my list. He was injured for the large portion of this year, but at 27, he's a good guard. He can come in and be a starter. He's ranked as the 28th best Pro Football Focus free agent, and he's only projected to get a 1-year, $5.5 million deal. Those are the Tier 1 free agent interior offensive linemen. Tier 2, a guy like Mekhi Becton kind of turned his career around, joining the Philadelphia Eagles, going from tackle to guard. He is the 41st ranked PFF free agent. He was the 18th best guard via grade, and he's projected to get a 3-year deal worth $27 million. Brandon Sheriff, 33-year-old guard, not really all that interested. Zach Martin, he may retire. Then you got Patrick McCarry, and then a guy like Aaron Banks. If I'm going to go out and sign a guard, I'm willing to spend big on one. And if I'm willing to spend big, not Big Ben. If I'm willing to spend big on a guard, it would be Trey Smith. That's my number one. He's the guy I would like to go out and cash. I think he's one of the best guards in the National Football League, and you need a starting right guard. You need to fortify that offensive line. You really only got one position that's up for grabs because you got Andrew Thomas at left tackle, got John Runyon at left guard. John Michael Schmitz is probably going to be your starting center. Would like to see them bring in a veteran to be his backup if he does struggle and push him. Then you don't have a right guard. Maybe you bring back Van Roten, maybe you don't. Maybe he's the veteran that can play guard and center that pushes JMS. And then you're going to have Jermaine Aluminum at right tackle. If you plug in Trey Smith, you're going to have a solid O-line. And you're going to draft a quarterback most likely. And what is the most important key to having a young quarterback be successful? Time in the pocket. Got to have a good O-line in front of him. Let's go to the other side of the trenches, the defensive tackle position. Osa Odighizuwa from the Dallas Cowboys is the number 1 rated defensive tackle. He's expected to get a bag at 4 years, $85 million. Not really interested in that. He's more of a pass rusher, as well as Milton Williams. He's 25 years old, had a good year with the Eagles, was a great pass rusher. He's expected to get 3 years and $63 million. Levi Onwuzurike. I know I butchered that, so laugh at me in the comments. He was solid for Detroit this year. He's on my list at 26 years old, 2 years, $16.5 million. B.J. Hill, once a Giant, always a Giant. Calais Campbell is getting close to retirement. Jaron Reed, 32 years old. Poona Ford, he's my guy. Of all of these DTs on the board, Poona Ford is the one I want the Giants to go out and get. He was the 5th graded defensive tackle by Pro Football Focus, and he had one of the best run-stopping grades in the National Football League. The Giants need a run stuffer next to Dexter Lawrence. They need a guy out there that can take on multiple blocks and be an impact player at the line of scrimmage at that spot. Other guys, Tershawn Watton, Tier Tart, and DJ Jones are all guys that are also free agents, but I'm looking for Poona Ford. If I had to say the guy I want, it's him. He's only projected to sign a 1-year, $3.5 million deal. He is only 5'11", but he's like 310 pounds, and he is someone that I believe can really help this defensive line in the run game. We got more positions to talk about. First, though, I got to tell you about our proud sponsor, Game Time. If you're looking for last-minute tickets to go to the NFL playoff games this weekend, or you want to go to a Super Bowl game, the best spot to get your tickets is Game Time. You get the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed. Prices actually drop as the events get closer. So if you're a procrastinator, kind of like I am, you got to get hooked up with Game Time. If you use our promo code ChatSports, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase, where terms do apply. You get to see your seat view in the app, get to access your tickets from your phone. If you don't want to go to the event, you can easily resell your tickets as well. Views from the seat, so it's easy to decide which ticket you want. And $20 off your first purchase, where terms apply if you use our promo code ChatSports. Turn on the all-in pricing feature so you don't get hit with hidden fees when you get to checkout. And the Game Time Picks feature makes it that much more easy to go see your favorite people perform. It's more than just sporting events, though. You go to concerts, theater events, and comedy shows. So for your ticketing needs, download the Game Time app and use that promo code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. The wide receiver position. A lot of names here. Guys like T. Higgins, Chris Godwin, Amari Cooper, Stefon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, Marquise Hollywood Brown, Darius Slayton, Keenan Allen, Deontay Johnson, and Mike Williams. I don't see how the Giants are going to be able to pay a guy like T. Higgins and Trey Smith. And if I had to choose one of them, I'd rather pay the interior offensive lineman. But I would love to go out and get a veteran to add to this team and be a big brother and a mentor to Malik Neighbors. Show him how to be a pro. Show him how to watch film. Give him some scouting reports on some of the corners out there. Show him how to take care of his body. Show him how to be an elite player. I would love to go out and get a Chris Godwin. I would love to also maybe even go out and get a guy like Keenan Allen to be that slot receiver for a young quarterback you're going to get. Neighbors is an outside guy. I wouldn't mind going out and signing a guy like Keenan Allen. Not really interested in Cooper. Not really interested in Diggs. Maybe DeAndre Hopkins could make some sense. Not interested in Mike Williams. Not interested in Deontay Johnson. I'm not bringing Darius Slayton back. So the guys I'm looking at, like dream target, T. Higgins. Yeah, Chris Godwin, Super Bowl champ. Love for him to come play for the Giants, be a leader, be a mentor, be a captain. Not really interested in a Cooper, Diggs. So Godwin, Hopkins, maybe a guy like Keenan Allen. I'm looking for a vet. Giants have to go out and add another wide receiver too, though, because you cannot enter the year with Wan'Dale Robinson as wide receiver too. Any guys that can guard wide receivers. So let's talk some corners. DJ Reed, he's the best of the bunch, according to PFF, projected to get 3 years, $42 million. Charvarius Ward in a dream world would be a Giant for me. Big fan of his game. He's won some Super Bowls. He's been on great teams. He could help a young guy like Deonte Banks, but it's going to cost a lot at 3 years, $43.5 million. Rasul Douglas, not really interested. Carlton Davis. Sante Samuel could make some sense for me. I like him. Byron Murphy, I would say, is a name to watch. Stephon Gilmore, Mike Hilton, not really interested. Jonathan Jones was pretty bad this year for them. Nate Hobbs, Paulson Adebo, I don't hate it. But if I'm going out and paying for a corner, I'm looking for Charvarius Ward or DJ Reed. But a happy median could be a guy like Byron Murphy Jr. of Minnesota. You got to get a vet, though, to help mentor your young corners. You got a young one in Deonte Banks. You got a young one in Andrew Phillips. You got a young guy in Cordell Flott. You need someone in there that's ready to play, that could be a good corner, but also a mentor, a teacher, and kind of just that big brother for some of these guys to learn from. I would be really, really happy if they go out and get a veteran corner. You also need a safety because you don't have a starting safety next to your rookie, Tyler Nubin. So the corners that are out there, Javon Holland, he's going to get a lot of money, projected to get 4 years, $98 million. Not interested in paying that. If you're not going to pay Xavier McKinney, why are you going out and paying Javon Holland? Talanoa Hufanga, former All-Pro, I'd be interested in him. A fifth-round pick in 2021. Wasn't that good this year, though, and he was dealing with some injuries. Cameron Bynum, expect to get a lot of money as well. Justin Reed, expect to get a lot of money. Then you're looking at a guy like Trayvon Merrick. He was just a first-round pick a couple of years ago, 4 years, $60 million. If you want a veteran, Justin Simmons, he could make some sense. Jeremy Chin, he could make some sense coming from Washington if you like what you saw him on tape. But the guy I want the Giants to go out and get is Julian Blackmon, a true deep safety that plays sideline to sideline, free safety. It would allow Tyler Nubin to play a little bit closer to the box, and it wouldn't break the bank at 3 years, $21 million for the 26-year-old safety. I really don't think the Giants are going to go out and spend big at the safety spot. They didn't do it for Xavier McKinney. He was homegrown. He was someone that was still like 25, 26 years old last spring. I don't think they'll go out and pay big. Blackmon is on my list for sure. I like him a lot. I also like Justin Simmons as a veteran. If you want a young guy, Trayvon Merrick could make some sense. Then Justin Reed, but I don't know if I want to pay a safety a lot of money just yet where the Giants are at in their rebuild. So we've gone through 6 positions and 60 free agents. 10 guys at every single position in need outside of kicker. Name a free agent you want the Giants to sign. And if you want to continue the conversation, I'm on social media at @MarshallGreen_ on Twitter as well as on Instagram. I would be happy with Godwin too, says Congdon.
Drop a name.
I'd be cool with him as well. Would you rather T. Higgins or Trey Smith?
I would rather Trey Smith.
I think so too. You got to protect that young QB, man.
Yep.
You got to protect that young QB. Craven, the bunter. $20 super chat. I didn't know this happened, baby. Thank you, sir. Thank you for supporting. showing love. Says the chance to control your fate with the number 1 pick does not come often. Yeah. But hey, we got a culture win in week 17. Now we're going to get a bridge QB to move us to 7-win mediocrity for years to prevent us from ever getting a high pick to choose our QB of the future. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Hopefully that's not what happens. That's why I was so upset when the Giants won a meaningless game against the Colts. And like, you control your own fate with the number 1 pick. You get to build an offense around that number 1 pick in free agency. You get to enter the offseason knowing who you're going to take. But it's over. It's over. It's not going to happen. And I'd say that Shador or Cam is most likely going to be on the board at 3 anyways, so not the worst thing in the world. But you might just get your second pick or your first pick, whichever order you have them in. Thanks for the love, bro. Dubs! Dub D's says, how do you feel about trading Kayvon and drafting Carter? So, a couple people have asked this question today. And a couple people have talked about drafting Abdul Carter, right? This is kind of how I have it play out. What would the first 2 picks have to be for you to want Carter? Because let's say that Cam Ward goes 1 and Shador Sanders goes 2. I'm taking Travis Hunter over Abdul Carter. Let's say if Cam Ward goes 1 and Travis Hunter goes 2. I'm taking Shador Sanders over Abdul Carter. I don't really see a way that Abdul Carter is a Giant. Could be wrong. Let me rephrase that. I don't see a situation that I think makes a lot of sense for Abdul Carter to be a Giant. And it's like, why would I just trade Thibodeau to not get nearly the return on the investment I made than to just hope that Abdul Carter is better than him? I have Abdul Carter as prospect 4 for me. I have Travis Hunter, Cam Ward, and Shador Sanders based on need and talent higher than them. So it's like, I just don't see a way I'm taking the 4th best player on my board when one of the first 3 are going to be there. Now you trade down with the Raiders to 6, and then he's on the board, then yeah, maybe. Maybe. But Greg says we don't have a primary need at edge. Yeah, and I get that, but I don't really even care about the need perspective. I just think you take the best player available, and I think that Travis Hunter is a better player than him. They're both going to be great. I think they're both going to be great. I just think that Travis Hunter is a little bit better.
Giants have a hole at wide receiver and corner. Travis Hunter can play both.
Yeah. Can never have enough edge rushers. That's true, Mike G. 100%. I live and die with that theory. You ain't winning that Super Bowl without Corey Webster, though.
That's right. And Terrell Roll.
Terrell Thomas.
Aaron Ross.
You need guys that can cover, too.
Giants were deep as hell at corner back then. Man.
You need guys that can cover.
Don't forget about the Prince.
The Prince.
Was Prince part of the second team, or was he drafted that offseason?
I think he might have been a rookie.
I think he might have been a rookie that year.
I think he might have been a rookie that Super Bowl year.
Shout out to Mukamara.
Yeah. All righty. What do we got next?
We got mock draft 7.0. I can't wait to ask the audience. Oh, great.
Is Liam Cohen going to the Jags?
Is it? Is that happening right now?
Ari just tweeted this out. To recap the unprecedented situation, Liam Cohen was the Jags' top target for the head coach position.
Yeah.
He was set to interview on Wednesday, but then withdrew his name. The Bucs then offered him an extension to become one of the highest paid coordinators in the league. The Jaguars bugged out and fired Trent Baalke. They reached back out to Cohen asking if he would reconsider. Cohen hasn't signed his Bucs contract yet, and started engaging with the Jags again. Now, Cohen's at the Jags facility trying to finalize a deal. Meanwhile, the Bucs can't get in touch with him.
That is crazy. That's unbelievable.
The Jags are going to jag.
The Jags are going to jag. The Jags are jagging for the win right now.
We like Liam Cohen.
We like Liam Cohen.
I kind of wanted him to be the coordinator for the Bucs one more year, just in case if we fired Dable, he could be the coach next year.
Well,
Liam Cohen and Cam Ward would have moved mountains.
Well, guess who just got great news? Marshall Green and Tyler Smith, who never sold their Trevor Lawrence stock.
Everyone tells me Trevor Lawrence stink. He's the same quarterback as Daniel Jones. We are so up.
We're about to be so rich next year.
Buy the dip. Buy the dip of the Trevor Lawrence stock. Buy the dip.
Should have bought it last night.
The thing's to the moon.
Oh, my God. I can't wait.
I like Trevor Lawrence. I do. I'm sorry.
You want to talk about that guy put the quarter? What did he put? Darts or what was Will Howard's frame in the? You want to know who looks like a pro? Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence looks like he could win a Super Bowl every time I watch him drop back.
Trevor Lawrence is Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones wishes he was Trevor Lawrence.
Oh my God, Daniel Jones was lucky to play in the same conference as Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence is a bust. Okay, wait till Liam Cohen's his OC.
Did Trevor Lawrence and Daniel Jones ever go head-to-head in college?
I don't know.
I wonder if they did.
Daniel Jones did beat Trevor Lawrence in the 2022 season.
Really? That's right. Oh,
you believe Wan'Dale Robinson could be a second option next year? Yeah, give me a second option if you want to be the worst offense in the NFL again. If you want to be the worst offense in the NFL again, don't add any receivers.
That's hilarious.
Wan'Dale Robinson is a wide receiver 4. 5'8" slot receiver, limited catch radius, not strong hands, not a downfield threat. I would be very, very upset if Wan'Dale Robinson was the wide receiver 2 next year.
That would be that's what the kids would call doom.
Johnny Valencia, you are right. Wow.
Kind of crazy. I'm not sure if I would assume. Yeah. I would assume both of them were the quarterback for this game. They only played one time. Clemson and Duke are in the same conference. They played in 2012, then 2018, then 2023. They just don't play each other ever. I kind of want to see the box for this game.
Nick Jones says, "Are we not naming free agents anymore?" We were. Now we're asking you guys to submit your questions for the mailbag.
That's right. We're moving on.
We're moving on.
We have things to
Show
talk about.
goes on, Nick.
Show goes on.
Keep up, Nick. Thanks for being here, buddy. What's up, Beast?
What's up, man? Of course, bro. Duke versus Clemson football 2018. Because I think this matches up for both of them. Yeah, Daniel Jones, 24-43 for $158.
23 completions for $158.
Yes.
Was he throwing a Wan'Dale Robinson?
Trevor Lawrence, 21 of 38, 250 and 2 touchdowns.
We're moving on, Nick. Let's talk mock draft.
Let's do it.
What up, Chuck Roach? Shout out to Chuck Roach.
Chuck Roach, no papa.
Says he loves the show.
That's
Carl, are you doing mock draft 7.0 right now, buddy? Right now, OG. Right now. Let's do it.
Fired up.
We are deep in the mock draft season here on Giants Now by Chat Sports. Mock draft 7.0 coming up on the channel today. We went 3 rounds. We got weird. We got spicy. And I'm not going to lie, it's one of my favorite mock drafts yet. Do you guys want a 7-round mock draft? Are we down to get weird? Are we down to get crazy? If you want a full 7-round mock draft, we got to get to 1,000 likes on today's video. If we get to 1,000 likes, mock draft 8.0 next week, it'll be a full 7-rounder. What's up, you sickos? You mock draft fiends. What's going on? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by, and I appreciate everybody that's been showing love to these mock drafts. We've done 6 of them. You guys have loved them. You're watching every single one of them, and if you want that to continue to happen, just keep watching them, and I'll keep making them. If you've been living under a rock, it's a draft order. Titans, Browns, Giants, Pats, Jags, Raiders, Jets, Panthers, Saints, and the Bears. So that's where you pick, number 3 overall. And if you've also been living under another rock, the Giants, they have a handful of picks in this draft. They're going to have the first round pick 3, second round pick 2, third round pick 1, fourth round pick 3, fourth round pick 33, fifth round pick 16, seventh round pick 3, seventh round pick 29, and seventh round pick 40. All righty. Let's dive into Mock Draft 7.0. Again, I use the Pro Football Focus Mock Draft Simulator, so don't be mad at me. Be mad at PFF. And with the number 1 overall pick, the Tennessee Titans select Travis Hunter. Their president of football operations did say they want to take a blue chip player. Travis Hunter, he is that. Cam Ward, unfortunately, did go number 2 overall in this mock draft with the Cleveland Browns. And the Giants were on the clock with Shedeur Sanders staring them in the face. And then my phone started to buzz. My phone was ringing. And I answered, and it was Mitchell Renz of the Raiders Report. He called me and said, I see you doing a mock draft. I see Shedeur Sanders available. And I, the Raiders Report general manager, want to move up to go select him. So I said, you know what? Give me your best offer. This is what he sent me. You're going to give us 3rd overall pick. We'll give you number 6 overall. We'll give you pick 37 in this draft. And we'll give you pick 143. So you fall back 3 spots. You add number 37. You add pick 143. And he was sweet enough to throw in Andre James, their starting center. And I said, why Andre James? And he said, Andre James was great with Cameron Brasillo, who was the Raiders offensive line coach, who is now the Giants offensive line coach. So I said, hold on, let me speak to my assistant general manager, Tyler Smith. And we did. We came to a conclusion. But I want to hear from you first. Would you make this trade? Would you do the deal? Move back 3 spots, pick up pick 37, pick up pick 143, and add a starting center that had a lot of success under Cameron Brasillo. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I hung up the phone in his face. That was a lousy offer. I asked for your best offer, Mitchell Renz. Go tweet at him, at MitchellRenz365, and tell him the offer he just offered Giants now in Mock Draft 7.0 was a joke, because that's what it was. You want me to trade down 3 spots and pass up on drafting a quarterback, and you're not even going to give me a future first-round pick? I didn't even counter with an offer, because I didn't want to deal with the games that they play in Las Vegas, because nobody wins except Vegas. In this show, we're winners, though. And we end up selecting Shedeur Sanders, number 3 overall. You take the quarterback. And look, if they would have got really sexy with the offer, and they offer me a future first and the second-round pick this year and maybe another future second-round pick, then yeah, maybe I would have talked back to him and I would have said, all right. But I'm going to take the quarterback out of Colorado, the guy that had an amazing season, the guy that had an amazing season prior to that, the guy that's got an NFL bloodline, the guy that I think is the most poised pocket passer in the draft. Got good size at 6'2", 215 pounds. I think he's the most accurate quarterback in the class. I think he gets through his reads just as good as anyone in this class, and I am totally fine with selecting him number 3 overall. I do have Cam Ward 1, want to make that abundantly clear, but I have Shedeur Sanders at QB2, and I would be happy with that. Thing is, the Giants might have Shedeur Sanders as QB1 on their big board. They love him, and multiple beat reporters have hinted that he is their guy. Jordan Arnott of ESPN said there was a belief during the season that they were high on Sanders. Does that mean he was QB1? No, but remember when the Giants had the first overall pick, Shedeur Sanders made the cleats, Deion said the Giants wouldn't pass on him? Well, now Jordan Arnott's saying this. And now Connor Hughes of SNY is saying this. The talk around league circles has been Sanders is the number 1 QB on the Giants board. It's been that way since before the season ended. The Giants actually had a completed report on Sanders ready if he declared for last year's draft. He would have been a target in the 2nd or 3rd round for Big Blue in 2024. The Giants did a lot of work on Sanders this year, and obviously they did a lot of work on Sanders last year. I know they went to a practice in the spring in Colorado. I know they went to 2 practices during the football season this year at Colorado. I know Joe Shane went to 3 games himself to watch him play for the Buffaloes. And I also know that the Giants sent scouts to 4 games this year. So they've done a lot of work on him. And if it is true he is QB1, he's going to be the pick at number 3 if he is on the board. Here's my evaluation of Shedeur Sanders. Some things that I really like about his game. He is calm under pressure. I think he's the best quarterback in the class in the pocket with pressure coming at him. His ability to work in a muddy pocket, his ability to make plays, reset the pocket, and make throws to all levels of the field with touch and timing and anticipation is great. He's tough as hell, too. The guy took over 100 sacks in his 2 years at Colorado. He got up every time, and he continued to fight. Did he complain about the O-line? Yeah. Did he call out the O-line publicly? Yeah. Don't love that. But he's tough as hell, and he's calm under pressure. I think he's calm and cool, but also accuracy is what he really strives and has strengths in. He's the most accurate quarterback at all 3 levels. I also love that he's got 4 years of starting under his belt, and he's an underrated athlete. He is a rushing threat if you sleep on him. If you're at the goal line, you're in the red zone, and you do a QB read option, if that end crashes, he's going to pull it, and he's going to pick up the first down. If you give him a running lane to the outside, he'll break the pocket, and he'll take it. He's not a runner, but he's an underrated athlete. People think he's a statue in the pocket. He's just not. Some bad on his scouting report. I think he lacks game-changing traits. I think his arm is average. I think his speed is average. His best trait is what he's got in between the ears. He's smart. He may be the best quarterback in this class, doing all things quarterbacks do: timing, anticipation, reading defenses, going through his reads. He does hold on to the ball too long. He was charged with like 16 sacks taken this past year. What's his ceiling? How good in this league can he be? And sometimes I worry, is he bigger than the team? Called out the O-line publicly. We're flashing out the bust down AP after touchdowns. We've got a rap career. I also think teammates love him, but I worry about that a little bit. Can't be bigger than the team. Team. Mel Kiper says this about Shedeur. You won't find a tougher or more resilient QB prospect than Sanders, who took 99 sacks over the past 2 seasons, but he still put up really strong numbers. I'm always impressed watching him throw on the move, rolling either left or right. And look, he's a good QB. And I like how he got better every single year of his college career. I want to see growth. I want to see a step. I want to see you to continue to do things at a higher clip than you did the prior year. Completion percentage, up. Passing yards, up. Touchdowns, up. Big time throws, about the same. Turnover-worthy play percentage, up in the good way. Down. 37 touchdowns this year. He played really good. I also think he's the best quarterback in the pocket, and I think he's the best quarterback under pressure this year. Under pressure, he was under pressure 36% of his snaps. That is unreal. Completed 54.7% of his passes, 12 touchdowns, just 5 picks, and 8 big-time throws compared to just 7 turnover-worthy plays under pressure. When he's blitzed, he carves you up. You're light on the back end because you're bringing pressure. I'm going to get the ball out quick. I'm going to get the ball out on target, and I'm going to get the ball out in a spot to maximize yards after the catch. When blitzed, which was 29.8% of the time, he completed 68% of his passes, 15 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 11 big-time throws, and just 3 turnover-worthy plays. 30% of his dropbacks were under pressure, and he only put the ball in harm's way 3 times. I absolutely love that. When you keep him clean, he's going to complete every pass. 81% of the time, he's completing passes. Everyone always asks me, pro comp this, pro comp that, and I love pro comps too, and this may mean nothing. This may be right. Maybe, who knows? Some pro comps. I think his ceiling is Joe Burrow, because I think Joe Burrow is the quarterback in the NFL. Doesn't really have any elite tangibles, meaning arm strength, legs, anything like that. I think his floor is Teddy Bridgewater. And I think that's probably he's closer to Teddy Bridgewater than he is Joe Burrow. Shout out to Big Dash. I know he was one of the first people on the Joe Burrow comp. I don't think he is. I think that's best case scenario. That is, if everything clicks, if everything goes right, and you build a perfect team around him, then maybe he could be Joe Burrow. He's somewhere in between here, though. And I think that is a franchise quarterback. Don't sleep on Teddy B. Don't sleep on Teddy Two Gloves. If you forgot, don't do it. Go watch it. He was pretty damn good. Coming up next, round 2 and round 3 picks. We'll break that down. First, though, check out our proud sponsor, Game Time, the #1 ticketing app in the game. If you're looking to go to an NFL game, Rest of the way, there's only 3 left. You can go to a conference championship game, or you can go to the Super Bowl, and you'll get the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed with our proud sponsor, Game Time. Prices actually drop as the events get closer. They specialize in last-minute tickets. It's easy to decide which ticket you want as well because you get to see your seat view in the app. It's also easy to get in the stadium because you get to access your tickets from your phone. It's easy to resell your tickets if you no longer want to go to the game. If you're a procrastinator, you're going to love this app because prices drop as the event gets closer, and the app will send you alerts via flash deals to let you know the best prices are going on. They have features that are going to lock you into the best price. All-in pricing. Price you see is the price you pay, and the Game Time Picks feature makes it that much more easy to go see your favorite team perform. It's more than just in sporting events, though. You go to concerts, you go to theater events, you go to concerts, and so much more. So download the app, create an account, use the promo code ChatSports, and get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. Giants on the clock at pick 34, number 2 in the second round. And I went to the offensive line. Armand Memblo. I know I'm probably mispronouncing that, and I'll learn his name because that dude is a damn good football player. 12 games played this year, 0 sacks allowed, a PFF grade of 90.4. This is someone that has tackle and guard ability. You look at his career stats, 1,035 pass blocking snaps. He allowed 3 sacks, 0 QB hits, 24 pressures, 24 hurries, and 27 pressures. This is a guy that I think could start right away for you at right guard, but maybe you go out and you sign one in free agency, and then he is your 6th lineman. That could be your swing tackle and your guard and your starting right guard of the future. You look at some of his PFF grades, the further the blue ball on the graphic is slid to the right, the higher the percentile is to 100. He's at the top of the nation in run blocking grade, pass blocking grade, gap grade, zone grade, and true pass set blocking grade. Dane Brugler says this about him. He had him mocked to the 49ers, and he actually had him as a first-round pick in his mock. Luckily, he fell to us in this mock draft. Memblow is incredibly underrated, but he plays with exceptional control, athleticism, and finish. He would give San Francisco an ascending player with guard tackle versatility. Mel Kiper actually has him as a guard on his big board. He's exclusively a right tackle in college. So he could be that right tackle of the future, or he could be that starting right guard of the future. I'm curious to see what his length, pause, and wingspan is when he gets to the NFL Combine. But this is a guy that when you watch the tape and you talk to people and you look at the numbers, he's awesome. Number one key to success for a young QB is protection. And if I'm taking Shedeur Sanders, I'm doubling down on building up that offensive line. You win in the trenches. You could have Patrick Mahomes back there. If you got the Giants O-line, you're really going to struggle as well. So Shedeur and his man at the right guard spot in the second round. And I'm going in the trenches again, this time on the defensive line in round 3. With the first pick of the third round, pick 65, Alfred Collins, the defensive tackle out of the University of Texas. 6'5", 320 pounds, at a fast drop, Texas. This dude is all about ball. He was great for Texas this year. 55 tackles, 5.5 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 27 stops, and 18 pressures. 18 pressures. He's more of a run stopper than a pressure creator in the pass game, but he is someone that can do that, but he is much better as a run defense guy. Again, 85 grade in run defense, all the way to the right. Pass rush win rate, 7.3. Average. Run stop rate, 7.4. That's solid. This is someone that will make a difference on the defensive line next to Dexter Lawrence, and teams will have to account for him. You watched Texas this year. They dominated the line of scrimmage on defense, and he was a main reason as to why that happened. Build the trenches. Build the trenches. Be a physical football team. Be a smash-mouth football team. Get guys that can impose their will on football games. Get back to smash-mouth New York football Giants ball. Get back to winning. Get back to being that aggressive team. The New York Giants, that's what we are. Stop playing like pups. Stop adding players that are pups. Add the big dogs. Go get the big dogs. I love it. This is my mock draft, the 7th time, 7.0. Shedeur Sanders, Armand Memblau. I know I'm butchering that. Alfred Collins. Grade this mock draft for me. A, B, C, D, or F. I want to hear from all of you down in the comments section. You get a quarterback, you get a right guard and a right tackle. Could start right away, maybe down the line, and you get a defensive tackle that's a plug-and-play player. 2 starters for sure, and that second-round pick, Armand Memblau. Starter potential, but maybe not need to start him right away. Make sure you are following me on social media, Twitter, Instagram. Hit me up at @MarshallGreen_. B-. Memblau is not mid-pick. Alfred Collins is too. What does that mean? Memblau is not mid-pick. Alfred Collins is too. So they're not mid-picks.
They're not mid, so are
So
they ass?
are they good or are they bad?
Yeah. What's the consensus here?
That's what I got. In these mock drafts, I try to pick different people all the time too, so we could talk about as many as possible.
And then when final mock draft season
That's my
comes
prediction.
around, that's the prediction.
Last year, I predicted Neighbors. I predicted Tyrone Tracy, Theo Johnson. I went 3 for 6 in my final mock draft prediction.
So you Neighbors, Theo, and Tracy.
I
Tyler Nubin,
No, I didn't have Newbin.
Andrew Phillips.
I had Phillips. I didn't have Tracy. I had Phillips.
Okay.
I had Phillips. I had Theo, and I had Neighbors in my final mock.
Why would we give out a prediction before we've even seen the combine? These are fun to do right now, and they're inform. We're trying to inform you guys about as many possibilities out there.
That's
as
the
there
purpose
is.
of these.
Yeah.
Informing about when you see the title final mock draft, click on and watch it. Last year I went 3 for 6 on the final one. You could have missed half the draft. I got you covered. EJ Gonzalez, what's up, man? $5 super chat. Appreciate you, bro. So, Marsh, according to what you said, Shedeur Sanders should score high in the litmus test.
Litmus test of what?
I think this joke's going over my head. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Explain this to me like I'm 5.
Is it because he's lit? I don't know.
Explain this to me like I'm 5.
What's Vinny Pip doing in here?
I did have Tracy go to the Giants in multiple other mock drafts, but I never had Muasau and I never had Newbin going to the Giants.
Pip, that's a ridiculous comment.
So, Marsh, according to what you said, Shedeur Sanders should score high in the litmus test. I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Yo-Yo Gooch says, "Can we hurry up? I got to do my homework."
It's almost like this thing can be watched later.
Yeah. It'll be on the channel, big bro.
On the litmus test.
Litness?
What do we want to hurry up? Do we want to get off live? Is that what you want us to do? I still don't understand what he means, score high. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm not hip. Hip hop.
You're not
Hip
hip to what
hop.
the kids are saying these days?
Exactly. All righty. Let's talk Stefon Diggs, and let's do a mailbag.
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, a hybrid piece.
Little hybrid piece. Last chance, get your questions in. Not guaranteed if you use #Giants to get on. So if you want to send in a super chat, I might catch it mid-show. And
Yo, relax. No need to
roll.
spam, brother.
Yo, you good, bro?
Yo. He's just trying to get his homework done. We the plug. What's up, dog? What are your thoughts on drafting Travis at the first round and get Jalen Miller at the second? I don't mind that. But you have to understand when you draft Jalen Milroe, it's you're throwing up a half-court shot. If you make it, it's the best shot ever. Probably gonna miss though. You're gonna have to build around him too. He's got a long way to go. I think he's got to sit for a year. All righty. I wanted to touch on what PFF had to say as they predicted Stefon Diggs to sign with the Giants, and then we'll answer questions from subscribers. All righty. Let's do it. NFL free agency is almost here, and our friends over at PFF put out an article predicting where the big guys were going to sign, and they had Stefon Diggs, a veteran wide receiver, put pen to paper to sign with the Giants in their article. Before I share my thoughts on if the Giants should do that, I want to hear from you. Do you think Joe Schoen should go out and sign Stefon Diggs? Need a receiver. If you enter the year with Wan'Dale Robinson as wide receiver 2, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. As for sign, P for pass. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Let's dive into it. Stefon Diggs was predicted to sign a contract with the Giants in free agency. PFF says this. Diggs' torn ACL in Week 8 will make for an interesting free agency period between the 31-year-old wide receiver and teams this offseason. Prior to going down, Diggs showed no signs of slowing, on pace to produce his 10th straight campaign with a 77.0 plus PFF receiving grade. With the Giants holding a top 3 draft pick, expectations are that they will make a play for one of the top QBs in this class. Pairing Diggs' experience with Neighbors would provide a young passer with quality weapons in the receiver game and an ample opportunity to produce quickly. I agree with a lot of that. I do agree with that. And I do think that Stefon Diggs still has some stuff to offer to this league. But the facts are the facts. He's 31 years old. He's probably looking to get a decent contract out there. And it's been a while since Stefon Diggs, was really a baller. Look, this year, I'm not going to take too much from it. Only played in 8 games, but he was on pace for 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. So I'm cool with that. Last year, I feel like the stats don't really replicate what happened. 1,183 yards, yes. 8 touchdowns, yes. But over his final 11 games in 2023, he averaged 5.3 catches for 51 yards per game. His last 100-yard game was Week 6 in 2023 versus the New York Football Giants. And he had just 3 total touchdowns in the final 11 games last year. Look, the Giants absolutely need a legit wide receiver too. They got to go out and add more playmakers. If your receivers next year are Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, and Jalen Hyatt, you're going to be, again, one of the worst offenses in the NFL. He is projected to get a decent bag. At PFF, they say he's going to get a 1-year, $16 million deal. That's no chump change. That's a lot of money, and that's a big commitment to a 31-year-old wide receiver coming off an ACL. If there's any 2 people, though, that I trust to have a proper evaluation of Diggs and to see if he is the guy that the Giants should go out and get, it is Joe Schoen, it is Brian Dable. Dable was the offensive coordinator for Diggs in Buffalo for multiple years, and Joe was the assistant general manager of Buffalo for Diggs for multiple years. So if Joe and Daves think it's a good idea, I will trust their judgment because they do know him. There's a lot of talk about he's a drama queen. Forced way out of Minnesota, absolutely. Forced way out of Buffalo. Couldn't get along with Josh Allen. That's a big red flag for me. But C.J. Stroud loved him in Houston this year. C.J. Stroud said he wanted him back this year. I don't know if that's because he's one of those guys that wears out his welcome after a year, but supposedly he was nothing but a pro for Houston this year. But at the end of the day, it comes down to this for me. I don't love paying big money to a declining 31-year-old wide receiver coming off a torn ACL. It's been more than a calendar year now that he's at 100 yards receiving in a game. And the final 11 games in 2023, he was just average. He was solid for the Texans this year, but I didn't think he was a needle mover. I personally would not pay him $16 million per year, and I don't really have that big of a want to go out and sign him. But if Joe and Daves thinks it's the move, I can understand it because they spent years with him in Buffalo. If it happens, we're going to make a video. So subscribe, turn on your notifications, hit the big red sub button down below. The analytics tell me 50% of the people that watch these videos subscribe. I think about it like this. If the other 50% subscribed, we'd be at 100,000 subscribers. So help a Giants fan out. Let's get to 100K. Coming up next, we're going to answer questions from subscribers. So If you want to get your question featured, hashtag Giants in the comments, and we'll get to it later. Make sure you are hooked up with our proud sponsor, Game Time. It's the best place to get your tickets. And you can go to the Super Bowl with Game Time. Super Bowl, best seats for the lowest price guaranteed. Prices drop as the events get closer. And you get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. You get to see your seat view in the app. You get to access your tickets from your phone. It's easy to resell your tickets if you flake last second, a la Patrick Seatman. Also, views from the seat in the app, meaning if you're deciding between two tickets you want, you get the view from this one, and you get the view from this one, and you can decide which view you like the best. Also, these two features, all-in pricing and game time picks, makes it that much more easy to see your favorite people perform. All-in pricing, price you see is the price you pay, and the game time picks feature is going to help you go see your favorite people perform for the best price. It's more than just sporting events. You go to concerts, you can go to theater events, you can go to comedy shows, and so much more. If they're selling tickets, you can probably get it at Game Time. So download the app, create an account, use that promo code CHAT SPORTS, CHATSPORTS, and get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. All of that information will be clickable down in the comments and the description of today's show. Shout out to Game Time for being a real one and sponsoring us here at Giants Now by Chat Sports. We love having them here, and the only way we're going to be able to keep them is if we get you guys to show some love. So please, check them out. All righty, we're going to be getting into a mailbag coming up here in a little bit. We'll do one more final mailbag call. Hashtag Giants or Super Chat down in the comment section. So if you want to get your questions featured, go ahead and do that right now. Let's start with Jalen Hyatt as him. Says, I think Brian Burns played great this season. What do you think? I do think so as well. And I know there's a lot of talk out there that the Giants should have made the trade and it was a bad trade. They shouldn't have done it. I think it was a great trade. Did you give up a lot? Yeah. Did you pay him a lot? Yeah. But he's a damn good football player. And I think when the Giants are playing with the lead a little bit more and they have more help around him, he's only going to shine stronger as a star. I'm a fan of his game. I'm a fan of the man that Brian Burns is. Could have easily quit last year. Could have easily went on IR. Fought through injury every week. Played his ass off. And he made big plays as well. I think this will be the worst he ever played as a Giant. And if you asked me to do the trade again, I would. John Dottie, how would you rank the 5 QBs last year in Cam and Shador? So I'm going to go off of my pre-draft grades for 2023. Or 2024, I guess that was. I had Caleb Williams QB1, Drake May QB2. I had Jane Daniels QB3, J.J. McCarthy QB4, Michael Penix QB5, and Bo Nix QB6. If I were to add Cam and Shador into those, keeping grades the same and strictly using my grading system, I have obviously Caleb 1, I have Drake 2, Jaden 3, Cam 4, JJ 5, Shador 6, Penix 7, and that would mean that Nix is 8. That's how I would rank those 8 quarterbacks, strictly based off their college. I'm not going to change my grades to make myself sound smarter. I'll stick to this. I'm true to this, not new to this. Mike G. Marsh, thoughts on trading Kayvon Thibodeau and taking Carter at 3? Assuming no QB on the board, you, sir, doesn't appreciate you. If quarterbacks go 1 and 2, I'm taking Travis Hunter. I have Travis Hunter above Carter, and I'm just going to take him. I think he's the best player in the draft that's not a quarterback, and I also think that the Giants have a bigger need at his position. BPA, that's how I'm playing this year. But for me, I would rather have Hunter and Thibodeau instead of Carter and a third-round pick for Kayvon Thibodeau. That's how I look at it. Vasquez, we get Warren, Shador, Sanders. You prefer they start or get a bridge? I don't have a preference. Excuse me. I don't have a preference. Whatever they need. It's lame. I get it, but whatever they need. If they need time, give them time. If they're ready to play, let them play. But before I get to the draft, I'm getting a quarterback that I feel comfortable starting week 1 because you don't know if either of those guys will be there. Rob Jigga, Hunter goes first. Love that. Raiders trade up for 2nd overall and take Sanders. Love that. Then the heavens open up and Ward falls to the Giants at 3rd. This is a scenario I'm praying for. Same here. This would be a dream scenario. It would be an A+ for me. I really only think there's one way I give an A-plus grade for the first-round pick, and it's if Cam Ward falls to 3. And it's the only way I'll give an A-plus grade. Lot can change, though, from now to draft day. What's up, real libertarian? Picture this: Winston throwing to Neighbors and Hunter. All right, let me picture it. Touchdown, pick, touchdown, pick, touchdown, pick, touchdown, touchdown, pick, touchdown, touchdown. They don't call him Jameis 30 for 30 for nothing. It'd be fun. It'd be exciting. I can think of a lot worse situations, that's for sure. The realest in the city. Yo, Marsh, why are you so down on Dart? I'm not down on Dart. I'm just not ready to say he's QB2 like you guys are. He did break Eli's records. Doesn't really. Graham Harrell set like all the college records ever. Cam Ward set the record for most passing touchdowns ever in a college career. I'm not looking at records. Dart is a third-round quarterback, in my opinion. That's my grade on him, a third-round quarterback. If the Giants pick him in the third round, I think it makes some sense. I'm just not the biggest fan of drafting mid-round quarterbacks because Dart's not ready to play. He's not. And if he plays right away, I think he'll struggle. And if he struggles and he plays, it means the Giants are going to be bad. And if you're bad, you're picking at the top of the draft. And if I have a quarterback that I like at the top of the draft in 2026, I'm going to take him. And that means I would have wasted a second-round pick on Jackson Dart. I just like taking quarterbacks in round 1. Guys that I have a strong conviction that could be a franchise quarterback, not a dice roll. Is Geno an option? Yeah, Geno's an option. They could trade him. They could cut him. They could extend him. They could restructure him. TBD on what Geno and the Seahawks will come to an agreement on. For DK, not interested in DK Metcalf. You already traded a pick and a lot of guaranteed money for Brian Burns. I don't want to continue to operate in that pool of trading, priority pick, and giving big money to proven players. You just can't build a football team consistently by doing that. Crazy Blue Chris, what up, man? I'm a huge Higgins fan. Who isn't? Yeah. But you really want to pay him all that money when he's missed 5 games 2 years straight? I feel like we need reliability more than anything. I understand that. I do worry a little bit about the durability. I cannot lie. I worry a little bit about the durability. But man, that talent's not hard, not easy to find. And it's hard to pass up on. But I have him as on my big board free agent number 2. And I only think the Giants could pay big money to one free agent. And if I am, I'm going to pay Trey Smith. I'll ask you guys. Pick one to pay because you're not getting both. If you are, I'm going to be so happy to be wrong. Pick one to pay. Type TH for T. Higgins. Type TS for Trey Smith. Let me know. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up. Let's go Big Blue. Oh, baby. Look who is in the building.
What?
Give me some double R's in the chat. We've got the man. We've got the myth. We've got the legend. We got a 3-point goal. Bobby Alexander. Bang! Rob Rodriguez, you handsome devil. Rob Rodriguez, a legend.
First time, long time.
First time, long time for Rob
Say.
Rodriguez. That's my guy. Robbie, hope all is well with you and the fam, my man. One love, brother. Says, I think we are reaching by taking a QB at 3. Why not grab Abdul Carter? It's easier to scheme away from a DB than to avoid constant QB pressure. Abdul Carter can bring an identity back to New York football. Let's find a way to trade for Stafford. Look, if you can get Stafford and Carter, that'd be really fun. My question then to you, Rob, would be, is it then just a 3-way rotation of Burns, Thibodeau, and Carter, or are you then trading Thibodeau? For me personally, I have Abdul Carter as the second best position player in this class. Hunter 1, Carter 2.
There's some really good position players up there. Like, could you imagine being in the Patriots position right now? They just get to take one of the beasts that fall in their lap.
Yeah, their pick will be made for them.
Their pick will be made for
Just
them.
like the Giants' pick was made for them for Malik Neighbors last year.
Correct.
It's hard for me to say that a quarterback at 3 is a reach because I think Cam Ward is worthy of being the number 1 pick. Like, I have a really strong conviction that I think this kid's going to be special if he goes to the right spot. I really do believe that. But I understand why anyone would have cause for concern.
And, like, just because a guy goes to a destination and struggles does not mean he's a bad football player. Look at what the Jacksonville Jaguars have made you guys think Trevor Lawrence is.
Look at Sam Darnold.
Look at Sam Darnold. He's a good player.
Everyone said Sam Darnold sucked because he was no good with the Jets. He has led you to 14 wins. Where you're drafted and what team you play for and what coach and what organization and how they build around you is almost more important than the skill you got at the quarterback position.
I would 100% argue that.
Rotate, constant pressure all game. Yeah. I mean, look, that's New York Giants football. You never have too many pass rushers. Saw it in 07-08. You saw it in 11 and 12. It's just hard to pass on the top quarterbacks in the class when you're at the top of the draft and you don't got one. In this situation, if you add Matt Stafford, but you only then have Matt Stafford for a year or two. And then Stafford, ideally wins you 10 games. And you're picking 24th. You're probably not getting one then. I don't hate this line of thinking. I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's right. I'm not saying what I'm saying is right or wrong. For me personally, if Cam Ward is on the board at 3, I am turning the card in and I am running away and I am partying and popping champagne. If the draft goes Cam Ward and then Travis Hunter, then we can have a legit conversation about Carter and Shador. I think the Giants would take Shador. I think the Giants have Shador as their number 1 pick.
Oh, boy.
If I walk out of this draft and I get Abdul Carter and I get a skill position player at 2 and I get Matt Stafford, I'm not pissed. I'm happy, but I just sound like a kid. I just want Cam Ward. Just what I want. Just what I want. Rob Rodriguez, you're a legend, brother.
We love you, Double R.
Love you, brother. Lord Buddy Bear, another Chat Sports legend. We got 2 Chat Sports legends in the building. Says the way the Texans fans feel about the Chiefs is how everyone outside of Houston feels about the Astros. Karma. The cheaters got cheated on. The Astros are the scummiest organization in sports.
Correct.
And I don't even think it's close.
The Dodgers are giving them a run for their money right now.
But they at least play by the rules.
Yes. Well, they are bending the rules financially.
Bending, yes. Breaking, no.
No.
Bending, very bending. And it's not a bend but don't break defense like Shane Bowen put out last year. That was bend and then break.
Bend and break eventually.
Bend and break. Shane Bowen.
Oh, man.
Justin says, Marsh, I know this is a Giants show, but Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns are all-star starters. Wow.
Precious. What'd you say?
Knicks have 2 all-star starters for the first time in 50 years.
Wow, that's a bunch of horse shit.
Justin, thank you for the breaking news.
That's a bunch of BS.
They deserve it.
No, Brunson did not deserve it. No, Brunson
all-star
did not.
starter? What guard has been better than him in these?
Cade.
Oh, yeah?
Cade.
Yeah, the show.
Give me
Cunningham.
Cade. Give me Cade.
What stats are you using? Because you can't talk about wins and losses.
Talk about eye test.
Okay, eye test. I guess by that logic, LaMelo Ball should be in there.
LaMelo Ball should be all-star starter over Jalen Brunson. It's not a question.
26 and 7 on 49 and 40 from the field.
26 and 7. And what does Cade got right now? It's probably like 24 and 6. Same
Okay, so
number.
why would he deserve to start over Brunson if his team's better too? 24 and 9.
24-9. Oh, okay.
45% for the field. Get your efficiency up, son. Get your efficiency up, son. Win some basketball games.
Unbelievable. And he's a world's better defender.
Cade Cunningham.
Oh,
Jalen Brunson, best guard in the East.
Cade.
Even Seeps didn't even like Cade 2 months ago.
No. Don't lump me in with that hype beast.
Bobby Alexander, what do you think it would take to get Stafford? Are the Rams trading Stafford?
No.
They were one play away from the conference championship.
What are we doing? Why would you trade away Matt Stafford? Does Matt Stafford
Does Matt Stafford want to come play for the Giants?
That's the thing too. Like, Matt Stafford is a guy who I feel like the Rams would give him a little bit of a talk beforehand and be like, listen, we're gonna move on. We're gonna probably talk to you about where you want to go if we're gonna trade you. I don't think he'd want to come to the Giants.
I have 2 all-star starters on my team.
Bro.
I can't believe this is my life. Are you going to tell me Cat didn't deserve to start too?
Cat absolutely deserved to start.
Why would Jalen Brunson? He's averaging 26 and 7.
You acting like that is some ungodly number.
I bet it's the highest points for.
You think it's the highest points to assist ratio?
LaMelo might be higher in the East.
Trey's probably higher.
What's he shooting? 30% from the field.
Yeah, Stafford's not likely. Denrod knows what's up. Go C's. Who are the other East starters? Tatum and Giannis and Donovan Mitchell?
Let's see. I just tweeted something out. Hold on.
Oh, LaMelo's averaging 29, 7.5. Why wasn't he the all-star starter?
Because they have 6 wins. Doesn't matter.
He's getting bucks.
Okay.
He's getting bucks.
He's played 15 games. Brunson, Mitchell, Giannis.
If I swear to God, don't you say his name.
Tatum.
Best player, it's not Tatum, unfortunately. But he's the second best. Second best by
I think Towns is the best player in that starting 5.
Oh, my God. His thumb feels a little wonky right now. He forgot how to shoot. Rest of the season's over. See, I could talk like this on the Giants stream. I can't talk like this on the next stream. They get too butthurt over there. And half of you guys are them. That's good though. It's a first time ever, huh?
For what?
2 all-star starters.
50 years.
50 years. My father's barely ever seen it. Who were they? Was it Clyde and don't tell me. Clyde and Willis Reed? I would assume.
Earl Monroe.
Oh, the Pearl.
And Walt Clyde Frazier.
Oh, the Pearl.
Earl the Pearl Monroe.
He's a good player.
You've just always been a Brunson hater, so I'm glad that you're sticking to it. You compare him to Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, dude, Isaiah Thomas' hip doesn't get hurt. They're the same player.
For sure.
IT's tough.
That's hilarious. All righty, we are going to sign off on today's show. We've been live for 2 hours and 25 minutes.
Absurd!
Have a good weekend. We'll see y'all later.